as we start, and people that come in, they step in this conference. So very warm welcome to everyone. I think this is a unique meeting. So from all over the world, people from Waldorf schools or connected with Waldorf schools come together around leadership issues. My name is Klaas Eikema. I'm from the Netherlands. And together with my colleagues from the Institute of Human and Organizational Development, Hans Passanier and Roxana Nika from Romania, and Adrian Beckman from Germany, also from the Netherlands. We organized this webinar, and we are consultants of this institute. We call it IMO or EMO, and we support with 55 consultants worldwide in 11 countries, people and organizations in transition, and also Waldorf schools in transition. And on the background here, there is also a project group which organized this webinar with Angelica Moga from Romania and Thomas Verkouteren from Belgium, who took part, and they represent a Waldorf school in their country. And it is an ambitious program we have to offer today, and I hope you will enjoy it. You will get energy from it. And it will take about 4 hours. And there is a 1 hour large break in the middle. The idea of this conference is that we share the results of this of a project of Waldorf school leadership development research the last 2 years. We want to share it with you, and we want to share with you the results of it. And so we have a program for today, and we will show this program. So the leadership issues in Waldorf schools, and the program goes like this. We start with this welcome, and then we have a first round of presentations. 3 schools will present the results of their research from the past 2 years. We do it interactive, but we explain it later more in detail. Then we will have a second round of presentations. So one of our ambitions in this webinar is to build up a community of people who are involved in Waldorf schools and want to deal with this organizational and leadership questions. And to make it happen, this community, right from the beginning, we ask you a question. And the question for you is, why are you here? Why are you in this webinar, this online conference? And we invite you to talk with someone else who is now here present in small breakout rooms. We start today with a first round of 3 schools. Oh yeah, Switzerland, Italy, and Spain.
All right, so hello everybody. So I'm Vanessa. I'm Constanze. Exactly, so we're going to talk a bit of what we have been doing those last 2 years. I actually can't believe that it's already 2 years. I will first give you a little bit an overview about our school. So we are a smaller school in Switzerland in the region of Basel, Bay. We have a playgroup, kindergarten, and then grades 1 to 9. We have about 140 students, pupils, and 30 staff members. A lot of them are part-time. The school exists since 1989, and the school was actually founded because the big school in Basel, that's the oldest school in Switzerland, which is nearly 100 years old, was full and had no space. So our school was founded for those children, those families who didn't have space in the big school. And now in 2024, there are actually 5 schools in the region and actually almost too many schools. So that we became a bit of competition to each other this time school. Yeah. So now the organization of our school, we are organized in an association, and all the parents and the teachers and all the staff actually are part of the association. We have a board. They are actually the ones who are responsible for everything. And the board delegates the everyday business of the running of the school to a leadership group. And that's Constanze and me at the moment. We also have a human resource group. And yeah, exactly. So we have a very flat hierarchy, meaning that the faculty, all the teachers, they participate in most of the decision-making processes. And we are really responsible for the communication which goes to the outside, the communication inside, and to make sure that the processes we are making in the faculty are really implemented, and yeah, things like that. There's also a human resource group, and they are elected by the faculty, and they are in charge of finding and firing, if that has to be, employees. But they always involve the faculty in their decisions, even though they are the ones who then take the decisions. So yeah, we are in this so-called leadership group. As I said, we're responsible for communication. We're also responsible for the finances together with the administration and with the board. We are also the contact persons for parents in difficult situations. I was also interested in this project because I'm not just involved in the school here, but I'm also the coordinator of the Swiss schools. And that's why I thought it would be a really interesting project, because this whole, how do you run a Steiner school is always a very interesting and important question. Maybe it's also important to know for everybody that in Switzerland, the schools are financed only by the parents, by the tuition, and that we don't get any state support. That's maybe different to other countries. Yeah, so our school now works actually quite well. We have more or less clear structures. But what we notice, especially lately, is that it's very difficult to find people who are really willing to take on responsibility. It's easy to find people to work with a group or in a group, but it's difficult to have the people who say, okay, I take for something, some job in school, I really take the full responsibility. I mean, I don't mean the teachers for their classes, but I mean everything which has to do with running the school and so on. And it's difficult to find teachers who are willing to really go into this running the school business. It's also difficult to find parents who are, for example, becoming a member of the board or other groups, the parent group who's responsible for the building and so on. There, it's really difficult. And that's basically then our question, our research question, that we wanted to find out, why is that? Why is it so difficult to find those people? And there we started to think, could it have something to do that the structures of the school are maybe not clear for everybody? And that maybe because of that, it's difficult to take on this hat with the responsibility, because one doesn't quite know what does this actually mean. And is it clear who actually has the authority to make decisions? Is that clear for everybody? and who needs to be involved in decision making. And what structures are needed so that people are willing to take on responsibility. So those were the questions which actually then led to the main question, or the central question, which was really to find out this interface between the vertical structure and the vertical structure, horizontal structure and vertical structure, to really see, is that actually clear? Because we think maybe that has something to do with it, that it's actually not that clear, and because of that, people are not willing to really take on responsibilities. So that was our research question. So the sub-questions and this main question of this interface between horizontal and vertical structure. Good. So in the orientation phase, we started to really look at the school and try to find out if everybody who is involved in the school, meaning people who are already in charge in those leadership groups, people of the faculty and parents, if they actually know how the structures work, how the school is organized, who is taking which decisions, and so on. We started first with the whole leadership group. Those were, of course, us, but also the human resource and the administration. And we asked those people and said, okay, let's look at it. Where do we have a vertical structure with what decisions, and where do we have a horizontal structure? And this group said very clearly, everything which is finance is actually quite vertical, because we have a finance group which consists of us two, of the administration, and of the board, one member of the board, plus the person who is in charge of the tuition. Those are the finance group, and they are the ones who actually take those financial decisions. So it's actually a quite clear vertical structure. And everything which is pedagogy, we said in this group, is actually very horizontal. That is something the faculty decides, either the class teacher, if it's just something which is about his class, or the whole faculty when it has to do with school development or the development of the pedagogy. So to us, it was actually quite clear. So now we went with the same questions into the whole faculty meeting and talked to the faculty members. And there we quickly found out that the decision-making structure is actually not clear for everybody. That not everybody who's part of the faculty knows who is taking what decisions. And that made it clear for us that there's much more communication needed from our side. So with the faculty, we worked out the following, that it makes sense that there are vertical decisions for these areas. Those are the representation to the outside, finances, the human resource decisions, and in a crisis situation. That was actually, everybody agreed, those are the areas. There it's fine when we have a more vertical structure. Really, the person who have this job, who are delegated in those groups, they should make the decision. And we agreed that it makes sense to have horizontal decision-making for the following areas. Anything which has to do with pedagogy, everything which has to do with school development, with school events, and with anything which is a longer process, where it's not a matter of taking a decision now, but everything which has to do where we have a longer process, that there, the whole faculty should be involved, that we have a more horizontal decision making. So that was this second thing we did. And then as a third thing, we talked to some of the parents, not all the parents. We took one class, like as an example for the whole parent body. And there we asked the parents, how do they actually see the school, how the school is organized, if they know who is actually in charge of what area, who is making what decision, and so on. And there it was also quite clear, as it was very fast, that we found out that most of the parents actually don't really know how this school is run. However, they all knew that we had a very flat hierarchy. That was clear to everybody. And actually, they thought that it was much flatter than it actually is. So that was actually, yeah, that was quite interesting for us, that they perceived the school as being very, very horizontal organized. Also there, we thought we have to just communicate better so that the parents really know how the school functions and who is in charge of what. The next thing we did, we're still in this orientation phase, is to actually look at the history of the school. There we talked to people who have been in school since basically the beginning, who have been here for a long, long time, how the school developed on this organizational sense. And we saw clearly that at the beginning, it was a very, very flat hierarchy. There was also no leadership group. There was a board who was in charge of a lot of things, but of course the board consisted mostly of parents, some teachers, but in the past mostly of parents. And that of course has now changed. And at one point the board said, okay, we need like a Schulleitung, we call that here, like a leadership group who takes care of the everyday running of the school business. And they actually delegated that to this group, which also means that the parents are actually not involved anymore in everyday running of the school. That has really changed significantly. So after we did now all that, so that gave us an orientation where we start now and...
moment, Vanessa.
Yeah.
Take a moment break, Oliver.
Sorry, so the parents are not involved in what? I couldn't hear you there. Or the parents are less
running
involved.
of the school.
Okay.
Everyday operational running of the school.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, good. So now we got to the next phase, which was this research phase. Now, after we found this all out, we prepared a questionnaire. And this questionnaire had 4 main topics. And one thing, the first topic was the decision-making structure. We had questions to the decision-making structure. The second one was the roles and the responsibilities. The third part of the questionnaire was about information flow. And the fourth part was time investment motivation. And all the teachers filled out this questionnaire and we evaluated it. So we then presented these results and decided with the teacher what we wanted to work on. I will come to that, what came out, because we did not just that. We also tried to have a different way to look at the same questions or a different method. And we did a sculpture work under the guidance of Edith. So actually she did that with us. So 2 things, questions from one side with the questionnaire, same more or less questions, another method with the sculpture work. And we had then the following results. So the questionnaire revealed the following, that first, people do feel involved and informed. Secondly, communication is there.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Could you speak a little bit louder? Sometimes the microphone cuts out and it's hard to hear you.
Okay. Is this like this, okay? Okay, I have to find out actually where the microphone is.
Yes,
I'm not quite sure where it actually is here on this computer, but okay. Yeah, so following results from the questionnaire. People do feel involved and informed. Secondly, communication is there, but what can be improved is that we often just communicated at the end of a process. And what people wanted is to actually communication while the process is going on. Okay, so that it's more, that the process is more transparent, huh? Exactly. And yeah, and that with the parents, what I said before, that the parents are not actually don't really know how the school is run, that we already have changed, that we now have once a year for new parents, really an evening where we inform the parents how the whole thing works. The results from the sculpture work were the following. We are a faculty in great need of harmony. Nobody likes to criticize. So most of you just say the nice things, and you don't really say when something is maybe not that good. Traditions have to be questioned more, that we really have to look at things we have been doing for years. We need to look at them regularly. Is that still the right thing? We have to, ask more questions to what we're doing. And also communication needs to be clear. So those were the findings. And now we come to the decision phase. I think I have to hurry up, yeah? Mm-hmm. So together with the teaching staff, we discussed those results, and we took 2 meetings to come to this decision in which areas we want to work. First, we practice giving each other appreciative criticism by observing and then giving each other feedback. So to go into each other's class and then kind of practice that to give feedback, and not just saying the good things, but also to say, hey, that's actually maybe not that good. Then we at the leadership group takes everybody in the processes and always tells what we are working on and where are we in the process. So more communication. And then the thing is with the habits to really look regularly, is that still okay what we are doing? Do we still need that? Also events in school and so on to really question things. So, and Edith, do I have still time or do I have to come to a conclusion?
No, you have some time.
Okay. So now last phase, experimentation phase. We made those tandems for the observation and to practice this criticism. We haven't done the feedback yet in the whole faculty, how that went. That we're going to do sometime now, end of the school year. So I'm quite finished with that. Then we started to look at all the tradition and ingrained habits we have in school, and to really question it and to see what do we keep, what don't we need anymore, what do we change. But also there, we are still not quite finished with this process yet, but it's going on. And I think what we really have done, and there with that we would be in the change phase, with the other things not yet, is that
Vanessa, you're muted for some reason. Okay.
okay now?
Yeah. Last
What
3
did you hear
sentences.
what was the last thing?
I was in chat with the leading team. Can somebody from the group answer
So with
the
one
last 3
thing, we are in
sentences?
the change phase, and that's really that we report more regularly and also tell what are we working on, in what processes are we right now. So with that part, we could say we are in the change phase, and with the others not quite yet. So, and maybe the last thing, the conclusions and the discussion is that we really, through this project, we talked with everybody about those structures. So a lot of things which had just been done before, but nobody really talked about it, or we were not that aware of it, not conscious of it. Now we are much more conscious about things, about communication, about information, about who's making what decisions. Is this now a horizontal decision? Okay, everybody can participate. Or no, this is an area that's vertical, and we delegated that, so not everybody has to participate in that decisions. So I think that became much clearer to everybody. As I said, we started with the parents, that we informed the parents about how the school is organized, new parents, so they actually understand how things work in our school. That we also changed. Yeah. So I think I'll stop here, and I'll give you now the question. So we have time for that because I think actually time is up. And from us, or for me, it would be interesting now to know from you, from what you have heard now, what I said, where our beginning was and where we ended up now in those 2 years. Are we missing something? I mean, from what you heard, do you find, well, actually that question would be important, or that area of work you actually totally overlooked? That could be important too, to look there. Do you, from what you've heard now from me, do you see that there is something missing from our conclusions, in our conclusions and all that? Have we overlooked something totally? Yeah, so that would be for me, if you ask me, the question you could maybe try to find out or to look at.
All right, I'll
Thank you.
start.
Moment, Oliver, we split now into the breakout rooms, and I give back to Hans to control. Just stay in. You will find again a button where you have to click on join, or you have nothing to do, but there appears other people, and then we share. And because we did the registration, will be also probably the answers for you, Vanessa, and thank you very much for your presentation.
Do we need to do something, Eddie?
No, you don't need to do
don't.
anything. Yeah.
So what will we need to do now?
Nothing. Just wait until you appear again in a room with people.
Hi.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
So I think now we are arrived in the breakout rooms. Already started to share a little bit.
Yes, I was just saying that all those findings rings the bell to me, because we have quite similar issues. Though we do have once a year presentation for parents from the beginning, and we still do that every year, but we are lacking critical feedback, and we also are in the habit to leave too little space before some kind of the traditions happen, like, for example, celebrations, events, and stuff like that, to think, do we really want to do this the same way this year? And usually we do not have time to change things that are just, in process. But I was wondering, actually, I didn't get the answer. Did those findings help them to motivate people to take responsibility? Or
Not yet. Not at the moment. That's the thing they are still working on. And they are trying now, over these feedbacks and over these more transparent dialogues and communication through all the processes. They are trying to find out if this helps more to get into responsibility, because it was very visible especially in the sculpture workshop, it was visible that everybody is very interested into getting responsibility, but they sometimes don't know where it is needed. So they were in a waiting position and said, "Oh, if somebody asks me, I have the will to take responsibility and to do something." But they actually didn't know really what is running. So they hope that because the communication is more transparent, that this helps also to the people to go more into and say, okay, I will take the responsibility for this part. So there is more willpower, or also force really strengthened to do something and not to wait until a command is coming. So this will be seen probably in a half year. They have some results. They are trying to get over this critical feedback. This is still in a process, and they will have a reflection on it now at the end of June to see what does it bring if we give feedback each other. Do we go closer together, or do we also yeah, does it make something with us if we give also critical feedback, or if we ask for help, or for more taking responsibility for some spaces? So, yeah.
And maybe you know what they meant by long processes needs to be more in horizontal. What are the examples of long processes? Because we also at the moment are trying to distinguish what should be vertical and very orientated, that one person is taking care, or two persons are in the corner who make decisions because decision needs to be made because of the laws and stuff like that. But and what should be left in the collegium? But we also have 50 teachers now, and sometimes it just drags for hours and hours without the end when we try to be, to get to the decision. So I was just wondering what was the examples of long processes.
Yeah, there are some projects. They are just they run over a long time. For example, also annual processes or projects. They are coming every year, but the preparation is longer. Or if they have a new project, it's like how to deal with them and how to make the process flow going through each step. And there was also a moment they said, well, we do have good processes, but sometimes we just miss one step. We have a lack of one step. We just forget to talk with each other, and then someone is not informed and he just loses the responsibility because he's not involved in these single steps. So this was also conclusion in the process during the research project, that they found out I will miss some steps and we have to look better on the single steps for the longer term projects.
Thanks for doing that. Makes sense. Yeah.
Welcome. Yeah. So for you, what was the, if you can bring it into one sentence, what was the most important, let's say, them or conclusion for you if you heard what they did? Or does it something have to do also with your experience? Or
actually it does, and in quite a lot. So it's nice to hear that we're not alone struggling in how this horizontal thing should work. We made some other steps, and we tend to start next year with a little bit different structure. And again, we will see how it will work. We're not finished yet, so not everyone feels safe and stable in that, but we do hope we will build something more effective for us to work.
Are you in Lithuania? Are you a subsidized school, or are you also a private school?
We're half. We get funds for the teachers' salaries from the government, but we build all school and all administration costs and food and stuff like catering and stuff like that is from the funds we get from the parents. How about you?
Yeah, in Holland it's all subsidized. So, but the funny thing is, actually, we all struggle with the same issues.
Yeah,
you are subsidized or not. So
yeah.
that's why it's interesting to hear other stories, because you think it must be totally different if you're not subsidized. And I don't think it's different. In Holland, we have one school who's not subsidized and about 100 Waldorf schools which are subsidized. And actually, the one who is not subsidized, they think of themselves, they are the real Steiner school, and we are not. Yeah, because they are able to really choose their own curriculum, and we are a little bit, we're totally controlled by the government, and the not totally is maybe not true, but partly controlled by the government. So yeah, that's the big issue here, and it's the teachers, yeah, in a different way, waiting for their salary probably, but I don't know. The issues are the same, totally the same. How do you give feedback to each other? How do you work together? How do you who has responsibility? I don't know what happened, but
Sorry about that. We are coming back into the whole Swiss school team. And,
okay.
yeah, sharing the key impressions of the talk, but also of the presentation. I will tell it again. So it's, yeah. Let's just wait until everybody's back. I think we are all from the Swiss school team. And no, one more is coming in. Okay. So let's just make a conclusion, like the key impression you had now from the talks, but also from the presentation. Take a moment to think about it in one sentence. What's your key impression from this presentation and the little talks you had in little groups? And afterwards, we will share this with the group.
I can start. We felt that doesn't matter how you are subsided, if it's government subsidized or you're totally supported by parents, the issues are the same.
Yeah,
I can speak. Two things for me. One is how differently Waldorf schools are organised around the world. And I think that quite often we assume that schools elsewhere are organised in the same way that we organise them, whatever that is, and that actually it's very, very different. And the second thing for me is the importance of clarity around decision making. That actually it doesn't matter what the structure is. If the leadership skills are in place and the management skills are in place and it's transparent and somebody is responsible and accountable for the decisions that are made.
Yeah. Thank you, Kat.
For me, the key impression was just the transparency of the process itself, as in don't just declare things at the end of the process, but throughout the process. And I know how hard that is and how daunting it is. And so I just wish them a lot of inner strength to maintain that process.
Thank you.
Okay, I can just, well, my impression is that about being different and different, all these structures, and I think it depends also on the people that work together at school, and also involvement, the level of involvement of parents and teachers, and also about those who lead the whole processes are really also important. And I think it's quite a wide topic that was, well, somehow it looked like a very wide topic and very serious questions that were, well, trying to be answered still, and still in the process, like a living organism. Yeah, so that's it.
Thank you, Renata. And Haria?
Yes, it was interesting to hear that what you struggle and how you struggle in processes where in a non-financed school by the government, it is almost the same as a financed school by the government. We also struggle with who is responsible, who is in charge, what are the processes, how do we keep the parents out, or how do we involve them, both ways. So yeah, I like it a lot that we hear from different countries the same sounds, although we have all different structures in which we build it in and in which we lead our schools or try to get our schools in a kind of direction. I think the basic is if we teach the same subjects and the same from the same goal, we're already connected all over the world. So in that sense, we're connected in many ways. So nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So Vanessa and Constanze, what is for you now? So the key impression of everything, also the talks you had, and if you hear now the feedback also from the groups, so that we can bring back probably one key impression to the whole group when we go back into the main room.
Well, what has been said about the transparency, which is really very important, and yeah, as you said, Oliver, not just at the end when something is decided, but to really take people with you in the processes so they know actually what's going on. That's also something we notice, not just with the faculty members, but also with the parents. They actually want the same. They don't want to just hear, okay, we decided like this and that's how it is. They want to kind of be part of the process. They don't want to necessarily decide with, but they just want to know what was the way that you get to that decision. So I think that's one of the really big things we learned. Yeah.
Very nice. So we have 2 minutes left, and probably I would ask you, Vanessa, to bring the key impression back. If something's left, you want to say something more, impressions now, or also the feedback to the school, what they could improve again or watch again, have a look on it. So it's now time to do that. So
you're asking me?
No, just everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just curious at this point. How often do you re-examine processes? Because you mentioned that you want to re-examine processes and actions and ask the question, is this still the right thing to do? How often do you do this? Do you allocate specific amount of time every week or every month? Or is this more of a goal that you would wish to implement in the future?
Yes. I mean, the thing is, I think we haven't done it for a long time. And that was actually an input a class gave us to really look at all the things we do. I mean, the events, all those things. And now we started actually going really methodically through everything we're actually doing since years, every year like that. And we're doing it now. And then, of course, the idea would be that we do that periodically. But that's the future. I think we have to go.
Yeah. So now we are asked, thank you for this question also and for everything. And we go back to the room. Just everybody puts on the button.
Okay, I can try to share my screen to see some slides that can help us. So we can start from here that we are a short summary of our reality, our school reality. We are a school that is in the northeast part of Italy. And here you have some numbers like the numbers of students, families, kindergarten, subject teachers, etc. We have class from 1 to 8 and a free kindergarten and one nursery that is quite particular because it's not so much Waldorf school as a nursery. And this was an experimentation that started years ago, and we are carrying on very well. Then we started this project also because with Erica, we met Erica years ago. It was before COVID period. It was in the 2019, no, yeah. And at that time, we started with Erica with some workshops to have starting of changes inside our school, and we were interested in the horizontal leadership. But then COVID came and all it was stopped and all it was frozen for a long time. Then when we saw this project with European project, it was time to start again for us, and it was very useful for us to start again with Erica and with you, all the people that carry on this project to go on from changing for our school. When we started, we started with in some interviews with colleagues, and we saw that in our school we have some weakness point that you can hear in this summary. For instance, there is a great ideal, but or lack of substitute, lack of time. We saw also the low payment for the teacher. That this weakness point we saw that we find in several schools in the Europe when we were together in this project, no, and then we have also the strength points that probably is interesting, because even if we have some difficulties about payment or time for the person, for the teacher, for themselves, we found it that in this school all the people work with love, because the focus is the children, no, and we have also a great acceptance of what is the everyone personal life and desires, and what they every one of us want to do in his experience of the life. And then we have some interviews with some people, gave us some ideas also for the future, and we appointed this during our research. Then we saw this question that emerged from our work, that how we can rethink and create a new culture for the school management, and as you can see, and working together at different levels, to see how we can improve about the quality of teaching, of economical and time management, and how we can redefine also the inspiring principles, because this was also interesting when we had a moment of questionnaire where we were searching about the inspiring principle. We found that we have several or a lot of inspiring principles inside the school. So it was interesting to see these things for us. And then we, Erica, probably you can.
Yeah, okay. So starting from this main general question that we unfreezed after the first phase before COVID, we did that interviews just to see now what is living in the school. We decide to design a research, also following what the project was proposing. So to orient better these questions with the community
to investigate the special issues and then to collect idea to experiment some changing. And of course, in parallel to this, there are each time a decision making, some changing that we want to do, and learning by this investigation and integrate in the new experience that we did with all the community. So we started with the orientation of the questions, and we did a questionnaire to share that question that was a result of some interviews of sample, select a sample of people, and we wanted to share. We don't show you, but if somebody wants, we can also show the questionnaire, how was done. And we asked from 1 to 5 to put their answer about some issues regarding that questions. And this is mainly the result. Manuel, do you want to go on?
Andiamo avanti. Yeah.
It's emerged that is too much extra work, a few times for themselves, not adequate payment, no clear roles, slow decision project in collegium, the low payment do not permit to do what we say is right, so to buy biological food, anthroposophical medicine, and so on. A lot of teachers have another work, low perception about the self-professionality, lots of differences among teaching styles, a different hidden drive. So this was also shared in all the community after this questionnaire.
Yeah.
And then we went more deepening this issue, investigating, and
yeah, we have some interviews also for this investigation with the colleagues and also with the administration. And this emerged, these issues that, for instance, the relationship between work and leisure, that is a critical things because, and also it's related to work and money, no? Because people feels that sometimes there is not much money and sometimes there is not much time for themselves. And the vision of the future of the school, we need some action to take a development, because these critical things sometimes create the problem that the people, the teachers go out of the school to do another work, for instance, no? Or many teachers are doing another work or leave us, or make two work, the teacher in the morning and something else in the afternoon, for instance. Then we had a workshop with Erica in September. Erica, you want to say something about?
Yes, this was to share the question work. So starting from a common, wider perception of the critical points, what is now the question that we can extract, grasp from this? So we did this workshop, we shared the evolutionary image of the person, so that is the anthroposophical image, we can say, also of the organization, and how this identity issue come together in the change. We did some eurythmy, I call MOVCORE, that is an eurythmy for social field. And then we did with all the teacher, all the administration, and the representative of the parents, the question exercise, sharing the result of the orientation phase. And from these questions was very important for, I remember people were touched that don't to speak about problem, but sharing in groups with colleagues questions and the possible steps. So then there were a sharing also that Manuel and Sara did with the collegium, with all the people of the school. What are the main questions now? And were different, more specific about respect the first questions. And then we went in Eindhoven, and we present these results, and they had some feedback also.
Yeah, we collect here. I don't read all. You can take a look. This is all the important feedbacks that the person, the teachers, and other person that work with us in Eindhoven, we collect all these because there is, for instance, the first is for us was very important, forward-thinking attitude. It's not always so easy to have such an attitude, and so it was interesting for us. And we also started on, for instance, on working on disconnections, because we saw that there is this type of disconnection between the groups that are leading the school, like administration, teachers, or the group of the parents. No? And this is other results that we collect. Then after Eindhoven, we had a workshop with Erica about the hidden drives, and with the teachers, with the administration, and some representatives of the parents. And then we did this important workshop that here we can have some results about this. On the workshop, we saw that we can group in 4 areas the results. We had an economic area, and a pedagogic area, and an action area, and organization, decision-making area. And here you can see some of these hidden guides that we found that were very important, because people was sometimes a bit surprised on reading this because not all of us was conscious about that we were working with these hidden guides. So we can see something about the economic area. Then here is the educational area and the action area, because
we can say the leadership area, so how we decide in a way, no?
Yeah. And then there is the organizational decision-making area. So then we go on with our work and with the project, with experimentation. And here we had this moment with the 7 beacons that we also make very interesting moment with Sarah, and with the rhythmic that she can explain something, I think, no?
Yes, we made a workshop with the rhythmic and the planets. Every step of this process yes,
okay.
Was near planetary process, and it was really interesting to see how every planet has a connection with a good process. For example, the first step was with Saturn connected, and the deep sense of what we are doing. And after that, we came to Jupiter,
yeah,
and the how. Then Mars.
I can say the how is very important, is the steering principle, no? That we put in conscious way, in conscious steering principle in that.
Yes, and it was really interesting to move this process because a lot of time we forget the good steps to do it. and we can focus, for example, to the resources and forget why we are doing this. And yes, this image is in Italian, but maybe here is more simple to read it. It was really interesting to move with our body and made an experience with the body and not with the head.
Yeah, we can say that all the issue we worked since this moment, so the question, the steering principle, the process idea came together now, and we focus now 4 main processes, and we are now working in doing designing these processes with the leadership of this manual, you can say, because the leadership is in the background of all these issues. How we lead the criticalities. So was led in explorative way, investigative way, and now the idea come out, and some processes are now.
This helped us because we saw also for instance, some days ago, we were working in Collegium, and we started with a transformation project in pedagogy, but the people that had the rule to carry on this process, they forget to do some of these points. And they started and they go directly to the end, and they realized the problem then, because they were searching results. But we saw very clearly that the process needs to have all these steps, and this was very clear in that example. So then we working and going on, we identified that we need in this school, in our school, 4 areas to have a leadership. And we identified with Erica these 4 areas, like a primary process that is related to teaching processes, school identity, quality of processes, relationship with the customer, and other that we need to define, because in the next steps we are thinking what the leader of the primary process has to take with responsibility. And then we have economic processes, investment, relation with banks, logistics, the school equipment, resources, spaces, and management, etc. And the human resources for the contracts, rules, and we need that this person can work together as a connection group, guided by the improvement of the core process, that is the pedagogical one. We have a sort of summary in Aurora School. In all organization, there are no talents and capabilities to be discovered. From an evolutionary perspective, it is important to know oneself, activation process, fit for purpose. In the future, this work may lead to the new process leaders that we are, and we have also identified inside our school, and we have to think how they can start working in the future together, and together with the school. And next steps is draw the tasks and responsibilities of process leaders, what we want and what we don't want, and draw how the 4 leaders can interact, how, in which who, how much time, where, in which moments, means and resources, explore time and ways of implementation for a gradual transformation, and also how we can give training to these leaders, like a master or something else that can be useful for these persons. Cos'è questo? And at the
No,
end,
non c'è da che, vabbè, cosa del result, cosa avete imparato prima?
the results, no.
Sì, community, this is
Ah.
interesting, I think. In September, we started the experimentation
Mhm.
and learned was about process design, steering principle, working step by step in this systemic evolutionary way, but mainly before was a community, in this decision without method, and now
Yeah.
a leadership that drives processes. So this is a result that has to be now putting forward.
And then we imagine question that can be for the next steps or this work of today. The question could be this: what are the primary process leaders' areas of responsibility? Because we are going to design now how the primary leader can work and on what he can work and what we ask to this person for be a leader of the primary process. And this is our question.
This is the pedagogical process, we can say, no? This is mainly, is the training, what is steering the other processes. We have some ideas, but it can be interesting to also listen to your ideas about it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for this presentation. And because we have only 15 minutes, I think it's better not to go into smaller groups, but stay here in this room and reflect a bit together about what we just observed and heard in the presentation, and what is remarkable for us, and if we want to ask questions. And so let's start the dialogue in this group.
Okay.
How much time we have class?
We have 15 minutes
Okay.
In total.
in total now till 4 o'clock
Okay.
Dutch time.
Mhm.
It was not easy to present all in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So who wants to bring in something?
Hello. I have a question, something that I didn't understood. If you can help me, there was a slide where it was written community, and it was something like decision without method, and then leadership that drives processes, and a different image. Can you please explain this to me? I
Yes.
didn't understood it. I think it's important. Thank you.
Okay. No, I was trying to okay. That slide represents we draw a sort of disorder, no?
Mm-hmm.
Because, we saw in the past that there are a lot of times that we work in the college with I don't know 32 persons. So 32 persons that should decide together, and is very difficult. Sometimes we make small groups to have some decision about something, but also we have other groups that like administration or logistics. And we saw that, for instance, there is a person, a teacher or a parent that has a problem, and it was not clear where he can go to solve his problem, because sometimes a parents go into the administration to solve a pedagogical problem, or sometimes go to the collegium to solve an administration problem. It was confusion. So we need to have a clear way to decide. And the other part of the picture show a circle where there is the in the center the primary process with a leader for the primary process that has in the circle the other areas that is working with him, and so we are going through this vision that for us is more clear. No, I don't know if I answered.
Yeah, thank you. It's clear.
Okay.
Jan, you are on mute.
Sorry. Yeah, thanks very much. First of all, compliments for this very nice and systematic way, step by step, to develop the process. I enjoyed it. It's very good.
Thanks.
But it opens up also for everybody in the community what the issues are, what the questions are. And so I was curious to hear, how did it work for yourself to go through this process, and how did it work for the people in the community? Did it strengthen the community? Did it strengthen the consciousness? Or did it give more conflicts and issues and discussions? How did it work out?
Good quality. We saw that inside our school, actually, we have some of us that are very power up to going on, and because they are saying we need to going on because this change is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some other people that were inside this process. They heard this process with the European project, but probably we feel that there is a fear inside this person, because they are going to lose some control. And there is also this, no? So in the future, we have to work with this person that actually they have control in some areas, and how they can leave this control to others if this is necessary, or how they can be in touch with the leader that now is going to control this. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, I think this is maybe very characteristic that when we give the leadership to certain persons, other persons get nervous because they think they lose control.
Yeah.
But when they get in that situation, then suddenly they start to experience, and that's the hope, that they even have more control, because there is now a concrete person who can share what the process is and what the steps are taken, and so they may be even more involved in because there's leadership than when everybody is leading and nobody is really involved.
Yeah. One time, a wise person said to me that a child starts not to be still a child when he starts to need control.
Yeah.
I think that is interesting, because the adults, the person, we don't see that we need control, but it's not always a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, what I liked was also that the focus is on the children. And I think strength of Waldorf education can be that the children learns to be a leader in life. And so we have a dialogue between the children and the teachers and the parents about this leadership can help also to strengthen the leadership of the children in life in the future.
Yeah.
Vittorio?
Yes, that's the question. How did you, or if you did, I don't know, how did you make sure that everybody discussing the new organization felt represented and didn't, how do you say, speak behind after the meetings and say things I'm not agree or something like that? How did you make sure everybody felt represented in the meetings?
E
Of felt represented his or her idea.
come siamo riusciti a raggiungere un buon...
Come sei sicuro che si sono sentiti rappresentati nelle loro idee, che non hanno parlato alle spalle, che stavano nel processo, insomma.
Esatto,
Mhm.
sono italiano anch'io.
Sì. Ma di quella scuola?
No? Posso parlare lo stesso?
Please,
No,
English, please,
certo.
English.
English, sorry. Ok, vai Manuel.
Come?
Beh, facendo un grande lavoro sulle domande di sviluppo e sulle guide nascoste, con questo, la maggior parte delle persone si sono state sviscerate.
But I can say something when I was in this workshop 2 times with all the community. My impression was that they were in a way obliged to share their questions, their steps, their hidden drives finding. So was in the process that they have to be represented. They were asked to show themselves. This, I think, was a good way. I don't know what can happen after, but my impression was that was a good process people was in. Of course, there is some fear, but yeah, I didn't touch, in my experience, big tensions.
Yeah. People have heard that in these processes, there was not, I can say, judgment, a sort of, no, because they were inside the process, and this can make something emerge that for someone was new, probably not so easy to heard in some, but when something emerged that is related to reality, to a sort of truth, people can be inside this and have a new consciousness, probably, no? But
I think that it was useful in this when we did the workshop to make clear what is a fact and what is an interpretation.
Yeah.
So to stimulate them to work on facts, not interpretation. So facts that are critical facts regarding the children process, the family process, very concrete. So concrete, I mean that you describe an image. So there were no space for discussions. People were focused on facts. That was the main process they were living for, because in the school is living for the children. Huh? And this, I think, was an help to avoid this type of discussion.
I saw also someone that in a certain way start to work inside with his or her convictions. I saw also some results speaking then with people outside the working process, that someone was thinking about this, because not all of us are aware about our convictions. So
yeah,
I think also it shows here that the Manuel and Sarah, that you have stayed in the process and in the leading the process.
Yeah.
And in that context, in that process, things can happen that cannot happen in the day-to-day routines.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think it shows itself a little bit what leadership can be in the schools. That is, that there are people who lead a process in which these things can happen that should happen.
I think it was an organic process and not with something astral connected. It was not with sympathy or the antipathy or the with my character connected. It was something objective, simple.
Now, I think that Manuel and Sarah, they were really good leaders in this. I have to congratulate. They did a great job, really.
And so it's also always a pleasure to work with Imo Consultant and also Erica. We learn a lot of things in these 2 years.
Yeah, it was a good process, really.
How did you, by the way, experience the time-consuming element of this project? So you are always very busy in running the school, and now this project. How did you experience it?
Probably for me, it was much harder in this period because we are ending the school year and there are a lot of things. And because the harder period was the last 15 days, I think, because we have to make the report and prepare this and okay. But in the past, during these 2 years, my experience was that the project has the right time. We met in the right way, and it was very, very interesting and very useful to meet in Eindhoven, to be together, because we all know that this platform is not human. So we had to be, and this was a pleasure also to be with Adrian, with some of you speaking and meeting together. So for me, it was a very good time, all this process.
Nice.
No, I can say something as a external observer. That was interesting for me to see how this community went wanting to go in the deeper of these critical points. They wanted to do because anthroposophy give a good inspiration about pedagogy, but not how to work together. This is really more contribution, I think. And to work on hidden drives was very powerful point to make aware what is behind what we do. And this was also, I think, a big learning for the community, no? To start to work, to also to discuss differently on different level. And I think this is something that the really Waldorf school need in this period, to be more aware about processes, because the children, they see a person not only teaching geography, history, and so on, but they also see a person that can be a leader or not a leader. What is happening around that teaching. I think it's very, very important moment to do that, to put more awareness in the processes in the Waldorf. So that the anthroposophical image of human being can be living also in the way they work, not only in what they do. And in this school, the answer was very alive about that. So I am confident that the experimentation will go good.
Is there someone else who wants to say something? Well, what maybe on the reflective thought is that what Manuel Saez said is this tension between Saturn and Moon, the ideal and the resources as a tension. The soul development path, you have the Moon path and you have the Saturn path, soul development path. So I think the soul of the school very much is also defined by the tension between the two, especially in Waldorf schools, and you cannot solve it, but I found it very interesting, the leadership, to really work with this dimensions and get the right balance between the resources, the money, the time and so on, and the ideals. That's really a driving force for the whole of the community. That's very.
And for my experience was really interesting also to see the person, how they received all this work with the body and not with the head. Eurythmy was so important to flow in the process. And and give a gift back, something without judgment.
You were lucky because you have an email consultant who loves this.
Yeah, so we did a lot.
Cannot escape it with Erika.
Yeah, but it was nice because then Sarah went on that.
Yeah, no, it's super.
That was great. She worked following this and did an interesting work. Yeah.
Talking of heads instead of moving together.
Yeah.
And how it works. Very different.
Yeah.
Thanks, great.
Thanks.
Good next steps. Continue, please.
Thank you.
Thanks to all. We're going to the other room, I see, no?
We have still 1 minute left, so if something very important is remaining to be expressed, can be done now. Otherwise, we can leave the room. The idea was that we will now going to have to watch a short interview with Thomas Verkouteren from the Belgium school. Takes net 9 minutes. Maybe you can say something about the start of this project. What was the question, the development question you wanted to step in?
Yes. Well, actually, you have to know the context where we work in. So we have a big school in Belgium, the Flemish part of Belgium, with almost 1,800 pupils, spread over 8 campuses, spread over the region Flanders. So each campus has his own methods and his own history and his own way of working out things. Of course, this has to be in accordance or with regulations which are very severe in Flanders, regulations concerning education. So as the general direction of the school, I have to be certain that it's okay. So it's quite a challenge that everything is like it has to be. But on the other hand, I want to respect the local autonomy and the local history and couleur locale, local culture of each campus. So the initial question was aiming to point out the balance between local autonomy and more centralization or clustering of processes which has to be done. And I think we almost immediately focused on secondary processes, like, for instance, finance or administration, also health and prevention, safety, that kind of stuff, because it actually has. It's not our core business. Our core business is, of course, Waldorf pedagogy. And our teachers are very well educated for that. They can manage that. So I think, yes, the idea was that's our core business that has to be organize the local and the secondary processes, which are not our core business, can be taken into a central level or a clustered level between campuses, and the local people doesn't have to bother with that.
And in the beginning of this process, you also described to me that there was already a need for this process. You did a kind of research,
yes.
kind of exploration among the community for the need of this process.
Well, we did. So we have. So I am general direction. I have one colleague here in the seat of the school. How do you say it? On each campus, we have a responsible, and we come together once a month to discuss all kind of themes to enter. How do you say it? To take some intervention and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And in one meeting, we focused on what is actually a burden for you as a local responsible, and we worked hard on that. And it was very. So we make each person made a list. This is a burden for me, and it was very clear. Secondary processes were on the number one. For instance, the administration, the financing, all the kind of stuff which I mentioned before, was very clear. Yeah, and then they asked to organize some transition on that domain, and so we started it up, and it came together with the project. We didn't do that quite already, but of course we talked about it. Yeah. And I think it's very clear that the steps we have set, the steps we have taken, yeah, that they are tasting for more. And so, yes, the local responsibilities see that it works. Also, the board of the school see that it works, and they ask to implement it more.
Yeah. So if you look back, Thomas, with me for over this past 2 years at this process of kind of action research, could you highlight a few things if you look back?
Yes. Well, I think the project was very, very good to create moments to step back and to look at the process and to look at it from a certain distance. So to deconnect, to step out of it and look to it and see if it is still what we actually want to. When you're in the middle of it, it's very difficult. It's very hard to do it, and the project forced me to do so because, of course, in the daily life and the daily struggle to get everything done, it's not the first action we do to step out of it. The project forced me to do that, so that was very good. Another thing is that we have a kind of a blueprint in our heads. So the idea from that is what we are working to, but I think it's very important not to, of course, to stick to the plan, but not, to be flexible also. So the blueprint must be in a certain way flexible, that you can change it. Yes. So it's actually a permanent process of learning and to change things because it seems to be better. Yeah. And when you are very not flexible and you have your blueprint in your head and you don't want any change of it, I don't think it will work.
No.
Well, the stepping back is, of course, it's an ethic which should be, also without a project, you should do that. So it's quite a challenge because On some days you don't know what to do first. So, but I think it's still a good habit to use. I think the project also created some safe environment for intervision. I think in every country, almost every country, the Waldorf community is rather small and there are not that much schools. So intervention in the own environment, the own country is also always a little bit intervention between friends or people you know. And the international context of the project and also the spin-offs of the project made it possible to do so with people you don't know, which works very well to organize intervention with someone with almost the same job, even if it's a smaller school, that doesn't matter. With the same job, with the same kind of problems, and to exchange with them, it's very safe and healthy. Yeah. And I hope that is also something which can be continued after this project.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. We will stay in contact.
That too.
Thank you for the feedback, Thomas, and till the next meeting.
Yeah, and I wish you a wonderful conference. And see you later.
Thank you for paying attention to this interview. I think for me, the most important thing was that this project created for him reflection time. So very busy person, always swimming around in all the duties. But this project forced him to step back, to reflect, to do the intervention, and that was the value for him. Okay, then we go to the second round, and in this second round we will have Romania and we will have Finland as the two workshops.
So welcome, I am Maria Virkkilä, the Vice Principal of Espoo Steinerkoulu in Finland, Espoo.
And my name is Janna Herttuainen, and I'm a class teacher and also a leader of our class teachers team.
And part of our team was also Tertta Paananen. She was the IMA consultant for us. And our action research for this project is enabling creativity to achieve engagement and initiative in school development. And we'll take you through our process. Let's see if I can. Okay, so we are a small school, 45 adults, and we are very interested in developing leadership in our school. So we have done a few projects about it, but it's not ready yet. We are still continuing and will do so in the future too. And also we have teamwork as one of our methods of working and of developing the school. So it's a part of horizontal leadership in our school.
So what did we want to see when we started this project? We wanted to see more engagement in our school. We saw that some teachers were taking responsibility and taking initiative, and some were staying in the shadows and not participating so much.
And we wanted to see that people feel the school is their own, and if they feel that it needs to be developed and something new needs to come up, that they would take initiative and start working on it, not alone, but with others. And when we did our first studies about this, how to enable these things, we found out that creativity is a big part in these aspects, and we decided to focus on the creativity.
Yes, and here you can see our research question. The main question was how to add possibilities for using creativity to have more engagement in the school.
And we have this teamwork. We'll show you picture soon, and we decided to focus on teamwork and do the action research on that. Try to make changes in teamwork, because it's something small. It's something that teachers only do in our school, and there maybe we can see the results more clearly. So we made this map about the management and leadership in our school.
Yeah, and teachers in our school works of course together, all teachers together, and then class teachers works together and subject teachers works together, and they meet once a week.
And then we have these teams. Every teacher is a part of the teacher collegium, but also a part of one pedagogical team, which is, and last year the teams were pedagogical, assessment, and well-being, and they all have team leaders, and then the management principals and the leaders of teacher groups and team leaders all meet in one leadership group, maybe once a month. And that leadership group is the leader of the school, and we plan for future and decide if there's big things to decide, big issues. We haven't had these big issues lately.
And taking part of the teamwork is not voluntary, it's a mandatory.
Yes, and last year we did so the leadership group decided on what the teams are and what are their main goals, and then teachers can choose what team they belong to. And last year the teams were led to set their own goals and have their own schedules and how they work. And the team members had freedom and autonomy, but then the leadership group expected to have results from each team. And then team leaders were the ones to be responsible of the teams working, and then together in leadership group, they had peer support and reported for others and reflected on what's happening and what's not happening. And this is how our action research worked from winter 2020 to this day, now that we are reporting and presenting to you. We had these 3 surveys that we did, and from them we had results, and we acted on those results. So we changed the way we work during the year, and this is one of the changes that we made. We decided to have more guidelines for the teams, so we made them a schedule, this roadmap, where there are, for each month, there is something that the team is supposed to do. And then we gave instructions in the leadership group before the teams had to work, and then work on this. So this was one thing that happened during the process.
And like Maria said, that we had 3 surveys during the whole process time. And from first one, we found out that creativity is experienced as an important asset in teachers' own work. And at the same time, teachers told us that they have obstacles to use creativity, like as a method in their own work. And they said that there is always, they have always hurry, so there is obviously lack of time. But we got some supervision from Hans and Tertta, and we decided to not concentrate for that issue, lack of time. We found out other more interesting obstacles, which were lack of guidelines and lack of support, and also lack of communication.
And this was also all about the teamwork. So teachers used their creativity in their teaching work, but then when they were doing other developing work in the school, then they considered it as different kind of work. So it wasn't done with the same ideas and the same methods as teaching was. The second survey was the one that had most answers. Of 30 teachers, 19 people answered, which is the most active teachers. And we wanted to find out, are the teams working when the school year has started? Are there goals for the team? And how do the teachers feel? What is their part in the team? Is it valuable work? And we found out at this stage that one of the teams was not working. So there were a lot of these answers that teachers had not participated in teamwork. And then some had participated a lot. And then some felt, and some of the teams had goals and clear goals, and some didn't know their goals at all. And still most thought that their participation and presence was important to the team. And then we did a third response, or third survey, and that was a few months ago. And there we tried to see how the teachers have used their creativity and how they have participated. And the ones who answered to this questionnaire, this survey, were the ones who had been active. So the ones who hadn't been active, hadn't been participating, did not answer. So we thought that this is an important result. And we took some open comments from this one.
Some people were satisfied and some people not so satisfied. And some teams were working very well, and maybe one not so well.
Yes, and then there was even these ideas that the teamwork should be put on hold because it doesn't work perfectly or doesn't work, so then it should not be continued. So what we have found during this time, there has been a growth in taking initiative and participating, and small things have started to happen, and a new kind of leadership has risen from different areas of the work and from different teachers. And two of the teams have been very productive. The teams have worked quite a lot, and they have been very important for the school, and they have developed the school culture, and have it's been visible that they have done their work. And then one of the teams had difficulties and did not meet once for the whole year, and did not bring any results for the leadership team during the whole year. So they just did not work.
And they didn't even say to us that they haven't met, and they had issues in teamwork.
So it didn't come up. It only came up from the team leader. So there was kind of silence and going to the shadows when the team didn't work. It wasn't communicated. And we found out that the people in our work community are very polite and don't want to step on each other's toes. And if the team leader does not take initiative, then the others let the situation be and do not bring it up. The surveys were a good place to find this out. So this is where some people communicated to us about it.
Yeah, politeness can be a good thing, of course, at workplace, but it can also be avoidance. And that's how I perceived that politeness in our school.
So our conclusions, if you want to have more possibilities for creativity, there needs to be support, clear guidelines, and open communication. So this was something we found out in the beginning, and then we added support that was made through the team leaders. We decided to not go straight to the teams, but go through the team leaders and try to support their leadership. And then there need to be guidelines. We did it by adding the schedule and the roadmap, And then communication, which we did mostly through the team leaders, but we also had these, after our surveys, we decided to have these team days where the teams come and present for the whole College of Teachers what they are planning to do. And then we did the same idea as here, that then the teachers go to small groups and give feedback, and then we talk about it together. And that was very lovely and was kind of a lifting experience for everyone.
Mm.
And this project made visible these essential leadership questions in our school, the way our teachers work, and if something is not happening, why it might be, and how people react. And we noticed that we need to have even more of these guidelines and support. And the most successful team had clear goals set beforehand, and they had clear tasks what they are going to do. And it might have been the reason why they were so successful, and why they also got to use their creativity and did a lot of work during the year. So next year we decided to kind of duplicate this team and make another team that is a similar one. So we give clearer tasks and talk more. And then we found out that there is a growth in taking initiative in the school. So that was one.
Mm-hmm. And some questions for us and for you today: how to support team leaders' own leadership, and how to build a safe atmosphere for open communication in a school. And also how to support teachers' own leadership in the team to take responsibility and for taking initiative. And at the same time, these questions are parallel questions for us, for the leadership group. How to really work for safe atmosphere, so people don't have to be so polite. Communication would be more open and frank.
Yes, bring up problems and issues. So in our report, we were asked for recommendations, and we thought that setting boundaries and giving support and promoting communication are really useful practices in leadership. Sometimes we think that teachers should have a lot of autonomy and freedom, but it seems like they need also this part a lot, so they can feel free and be creative in how they do things. And then we thought that also that we communicated through our surveys that we want to see creativity also in this work. It might have given a bit of push for people to use their creativity and their own initiative. And then from our seminar in Eindhoven, we got this feedback that we should focus on what's going well.
Many things are going well.
Yes. Yeah. So then we also took this team that actually works really successfully, and then are developing on that. So we are using that as a guideline for next year's teamwork. And then we are also using a lot more time, even though we thought that we are not going to use it, but a lot more time to develop the team leaders' leadership through the leadership group. So we will have a lot of more communication and support.
Mm-hmm.
And then we thought that our next research, if we continue, would be how to develop open communication so that issues can be brought up and we can speak freely.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very well. Now I think we are going in small groups. Hans?
Yeah, I will place you into.
And we do it for 10 minutes. So in 10 minutes we share about what we heard, and then we come back in the plenary.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Erika, you're still muted.
Yeah, hello.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. We know each other with Edith, but Pedro, we don't know. From Mexico.
Yes.
I heard from your Roxana that you know her from teachings or studies in
Yes, we
philosophy.
did together the studies at the Goetheanum about like 10 years ago.
Oh, okay. So that's why you were interested in the project and hearing what is going on here.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's your impression?
Uh, well, for me, it's interesting to see how, not only for this presentation, but from the Spanish presentation on how is leadership, the leadership in schools viewed, because we in Mexico have to deal with, it's like a very, how do you say this?
If you're looking for words in English, you can also say it in Spanish. I
No.
can translate probably.
I'll try in English, but no, it's just like we are, for example, it's predominantly, no, in general, teachers in Mexico view themselves as employees of their schools, from and expects from some administrator or founder to do all the leadership, let's say.
Okay.
So collegiate work is not something really established in the schools. In general, no, it depends, but in most of cases, it's something that we are learning to do. And I also work at the teacher training, and that is an issue, how to teach the teachers to be leaders. No? So I found it very interesting, well, just the natural approach of working in groups, and which is something we are trying to develop here, no? But not so, but it's like against the general culture. No?
Yeah.
So
That's very interesting to hear.
Yeah.
The culture is also influencing how the Waldorf School and World are running.
Yeah.
I think we have in Germany and Switzerland, I perceive that we have the opposite, that it is so anti-hierarchical, so vertical, and so everything together that a lot of things are getting loose just because we talk about everything together. And if there is not a really clear steering principle or clear process lead, it's very difficult to come to a conclusion or to keep on running projects, because everything will be discussed 100 times.
Yeah, this in Italy is the same. Yeah, I was touched, in fact, by this working in group, a team leader in Finland, because in Italy was a totally circle of teachers, circle of parents, but they discuss everything so long. So we worked a lot to introduce the concept of leadership. And we did the starting from the core process focusing. So the school exists to have a good teaching process. This is the identity. So we have to start from this to see what has to be changed. And then we focused, for example, the leadership of this process, that there is not, because each teacher do what they want in the classroom. This is not possible. Has to be somebody that is in a way aware of the quality, no? And then support processes, logistic, economical, human resources, but the leading process is that of the core, is the identity. And so now, after 2 years, this idea to have a leadership of processes is shared. But instead, in Finland, it was already there. So the question was how we can improve the leadership, but no, it's very different, but interesting.
What me impressed is that they took the task of the creativity to look on the leadership practice or on the to implement it, to bring all the potential and the energy from the people in. And that's what I experienced also in the Swiss school, and also that, in a second or in a third one, that creativity is probably one of the main potentiality people in Waldorf school have out of nature. They are interested in to use creativity, to use art, to use music, to use
but probably I did the same reflection, but probably they put knowing a little bit the Finnish culture, they put that in the art. So you are a painter, you are a piano player, and so on. But this creativity in the processes is different.
Yeah.
And probably they are more manager than leaders in these groups. And so it's very interesting this that you say, that the creativity can be that they have to be leader in a sense of the horizontal.
Yeah.
That is not leading the process only, but leading a system that is evolving. It's different, no?
Yeah. For me to be creative needs a very strong willpower. I want to create something. And if you can create arts or music or whatever, you can also create leadership concepts. You can also take leadership and responsibility for a project or for organization or administrative stuff. But to make this connection that creativity is not only arts, it's not only music, but it's like a base of life. It's like a power of life. You can use it also doing organization development.
Yeah, this is a very strong issue of IMO. IMO, I think. For me, it's my sense, deep sense to be IMO consultant, because in my life, my question was, but if anthroposophy, with all the wonderful things that is proposing, is not helpful in helping people doing computer or doing shoes or doing electrodomestics, I don't know, whatever. In being creative, there is something that is missing. And this stream that is a Livegood stream, Ita Wegman stream of anthroposophy in the social sense, that is stimulating this social creativity is really a big gift, also for the Waldorf school, but in general for organization. What do you think, Pedro?
Creativity, well, in the sense of leadership, maybe we in the schools, maybe we have to learn to do it as the teacher works with engaging the children, no, on the class, on how to get the group enthusiastic about one task or one goal that has to be done, and how to assume responsibility and to participate. So I agree, it's a special kind of art, let's say. That
Yeah, it is. It is, and it can be like creativity is being a creator, to create something. And if the teachers have this sense of being creators, or you have like to activate this creator in the teacher towards the needs of the school, so they can understand that that her creatorship is needed also for the school runnings, the school tasks, goals.
Yeah. This is
One of the things that were presented now by the school is how to get people engaged, no?
Yeah.
The one, no? And well, in this sense, we need a lot of creativity to be like in the sense of inclusion, no, of the
But let's go back to some reflections, questions, whatever we want to share with the Finnish group.
Yeah.
By the way, it was a nice presentation just from looking to the slides. So
Yeah, very
nice
nice.
callers.
Yes, very nice.
So is there something any one of you wants to share or to ask?
I want to share the interesting conversation with Edith and Pedro about the Finnish case, that we were surprised that they already work in teams and leadership in a way. So the question was how to improve creativity and this leadership. That is not the case, for example, in Italy or in Switzerland or also in Mexico, but probably it's depending also by the culture. But Edith proposed the idea, was surprised as me about the idea of creativity. And we reflect on this, that is really a very important issue also for IMO, that creativity doesn't mean to be in painting, in art, in playing piano and so on. It's also a social creativity that we work on. And so this is very important for the Waldorf school to discover this, how to be creative, focusing on the needs that are the main core business, that is the children pedagogy. So this creativity was really something interesting.
Thank you.
In my group was Judita for Lithuania and Penny from China, and our key dialogue is that what it means that everyone is the leader, and what is the team leadership, and what is the leadership quality when we think of teachers, and we find that in every culture are different, but it is a big learning task to develop this process.
I had also the assumption that if we focus on creativity, it's probably also like a basic force everybody has. And if teachers or people, they have to take a responsibility for something, realize that they only need to strengthen or to activate their creativity, their creator being, then it's already a lot of power. So probably one of the questions we can have is how to, if we want to strengthen leadership, is how to activate creativity or the creator as human being, or as a soul part of human beings. How can we activate this? How can we kill it out a little bit of the people, so that they become joyful about taking responsibility, because they can create. So for me, thank you very much for this presentation. It was a very strong window which opened.
You. Someone else wants to say something? I have a question myself. Maybe I can bring it in. So you just mentioned in one sentence the impact of the project on the community. You already observed some changes, but I'm not quite sure if I understood well. So can you say a little bit more about what happened? What was the impact on some people or some teams? I don't know.
I think there's two different sets. So one is that these issues about leadership came visible, and we realize them more now. What kind of obstacles we have with why people don't take initiative or don't participate. That's one. And then one of that was, it's very difficult to measure, but it's something that we see, that there are people who are taking initiative and bringing up new ideas and also acting on them and taking leadership. And this has happened in the last year. I think in the autumn, I said that I think that there's something like this happening, but now during this year, it's become more visible. And it feels like a lot more people have taken the school as their own and noticing that, okay, this is what I want to see, and then start to do it.
And I think that for some people, it was important to just hear that you are allowed to work. You are allowed to take initiative and create something together. You don't have to ask permission or wait that Maria or Philip, our principal, will somehow come and start this project with you. Just do.
And some of them are really small things, like one of the teachers noticed that it would be nice for some Thursdays when it's really dark to buy some fruits, and then said that, hey, I could buy some fruits for the teachers on Thursdays. It's a long day and it's dark. And just asked, is it okay? And then had figured out how to get it the easiest way to the school. And we were all really happy. But I think 2 years ago, it would have been like, why is there never fruits in the school? And why is it always like, and then of course that person got a lot of joy out of it also, that people are happy and you get to do something, and small things like this, but also people just taking initiative on bigger issues. Like, I would like to see this in the future of our school, and trying to talk about it with other teachers and starting the discussion. And now our next year's teams have some of these tasks that teachers have brought up this year, saying that this is not working in our school. This is where I would like to see the difference. And now we are moving on with that.
And what does it mean for the both of you, this project?
Many things. It has been very interesting, and how I see our workplace now, I see more possibilities to develop our school together as a college. And I have learned that when using creativity, I need support and I need guidelines. Creativity it's not just, I can't use my creativity if the space is too large and opened. And I have learned that communication is more than communication. There is taking responsibility, and it's about trust, and it's about being honest and going forward. Many things.
Yes, I think that was a good question, because I think for me as a school leader, I have been one of these people who have been whining, why does nobody ever do something? And now I notice that it's because I don't create the right space for it. So I haven't been giving enough support and guidelines and clear communication. So it's a lot to do with me. So now I have, I think, more, I have a set of ways how to let people make the school theirs. And also, was it Edith who said about the joy? Yes, that was what was, I think, that's something that's really important for me too. For people to find, in my school, for people to find something to do that they find joy in doing. So it wouldn't be just like, oh, I have to do this stupid development project, but to create opportunities to find joy in your work. And then time doesn't matter and nothing matters. It's just like pleasure and makes you grow and makes you connect to others. So to see that in my school is wonderful, and to realize how I can maybe be better in my work is also just great.
Very nice last words of this round. Yeah, great. Nice to hear.
Hello, everybody. Nice to meet you and to share our experience in the Waldorf Leadership Development project that we had together with the IMO consultants. I think it was the best thing that could happen to our school in order to grow more. My name is Angelica Moga, and I'm one of the founders of the Waldorf Sofia School, which is in Brașov, Romania. We started this project 11 years ago, and we have kindergarten, primary school, gymnasium, and after school. We are a private school, authorized. We have international license, and also as you can see, around 300 children and many teachers and staff. Also, we are striving to be a school oriented towards the community and also active in the local teachers community here with what we do. I know Roxana since many years ago, and also been attending one workshop with the IMO consultants, and it was very interesting for me. And when I heard about this project, we also wanted to be here, because there is nothing greater that could happen to you than sharing from other experiences, and also to be able to be with other Waldorf schools together, to belong to a community and somehow feel like part of a bigger family. About our school, we had, let's say, many stages since the beginning. When you are a small school and you have a few children and a few teachers, it's easy to organize because everybody is doing everything. But then when things are growing, somehow we get to the conclusion that we need to arrange a few areas in which we can be better organized. So in our school now we have these, as you can see, 4 areas: social life, economic life, juridic life, and spiritual life. In each of these areas, there are, besides founders and teachers, also parents involved, and taking into consideration each one's experience and knowledge. And between all of us, the center of our school purpose and aim is the children and Waldorf pedagogy. We have a school board which is made of 3 representatives for each one of these how to say stakeholders. I mean teachers, parents, and founders. And also 1 representative from the mayor and from the local council. So sometimes it's interesting when we meet and we have to take decisions because there are moments when you forget that you are at a round table and you should think about the good of the school and maybe personal interests appear. So the leadership question that got us entering into this project is this, as you can see it here. It's how can we raise awareness that the school is an alive entity and decisions we make should follow its interest. I mean, how can we think about the school each time we take decisions, no matter that we are founders or teachers or parents. And this question somehow transformed into a second one. How can each of us become more responsible for the development of the school? So we got into this orientation phase together with Roxana and Alexandra. And then we had some, how to say, interviews, online working meetings, and the process of deepening this leadership question that brought a different light, and that we can say that of developing brotherhood feeling between members of the community and the connection between each one of us in his own role and the school as a living being. We had also to think about possible indicators that could clarify this leadership question that we have. And these are, one could be connection and sense of responsibility for the school development. Then clarity about our roles. Then communication, and also involvement in concrete actions and initiative. After this, we got into a phase that we had to prepare a questionnaire and somehow think how can how is this question transforming? And the third, let's say, stage of our leadership question was how can we reach the fraternal responsibility for the development of the school? And the desired result that we wanted is quality human relationships, that we are here for the same ideal, which is the evolution for children. And we have to split responsibilities and to have that autonomy inside our working groups based on trust and communication so that the decision process could be easier. And then we stay together with Roxana and Alexandra and prepare the questionnaire. And we had some questions for each of these indicators. For example, for the quality human relationships, we had questions regarding cooperation, communication, and the connection with the school impulse, and so on. I don't know if it's needed to enter into so many details, but you can see here all the questions that went through the questionnaire. And we had results that definitely showed that we need to work more on this communication level between us, and also connection with the school impulse. After this, we had a meeting in Eindhoven, together with also other schools, not only the 8 that were in the project. And for us, it was very useful to have the chance to exchange experience and talk to other schools, to get to know other people, and also to participate in other school presentations. At the end of this meeting that was live, and I think it was amazing because of this, we had as insights for our school the need to work on communication more, again, not only inside between us, but also for the outside, somehow to make the school more visible for the parents and for the environment, but the school has a purpose, how to say, yes, has a purpose. And then we came to another secondary question. How can we work on our communication in order to understand each other and see how can we support each other? What we were expecting as a result was that each person has clarity about its role and the role of the others, and about the common role. We all feel responsible for our own role, and we are cordial with each other. So we decided to explore this new question about communication in a workshop with all the teachers and get a perspective of how the school is at the present moment and its needs. This is the experimentation phase that we are still in progress. We had between us 2 meetings. One that the first one was focusing on what are our problems at the present moment, and everyone had the chance to express from his point of view or her point of view. And then we had another meeting around 1 week after, where we could think about solutions also together. And I think these 2 meetings were very important for us, because in every stage of a crisis or an inner crisis, even in a school, where there are problems, there is also a space that is creating when you offer time to stay and talk, to stay and listen. This time is also very good for bringing after solutions. So we had brainstorming on, let's say, a new way of working to be better between us. And we somehow, all these ideas that came, structured them into 3 new directions to follow. And I put them here, like financial and logistic welfare. I mean, personal financial welfare, yes, and school logistic welfare. Then another direction is quality relationships between us as colleagues, between us and the parents, between us and the students, and all the external environment. And another direction to follow, code of ethics, we say, and discipline, so that things will be clear for each one as responsibilities, duties, and also there came this request for consequences that we put it here. So this leadership question, somehow I think in this process, in this time of working together, it manifested in the reality of the school very strong. And this is very good, because somehow we had we have now the chance to rearrange the relationship between us as colleagues, between us and the parents, and also between founders, teachers, and parents. Somehow I put it like this here. As results and conclusions until now, because the process is still going, we are now in the phase of needing to implement these new directions that we came about. This means another meetings and also some documents and some structure things for us. We also have looking back now at all this process. What were the difficult moments, but also what were the turning point moments. I think this partnership and collaboration with the IMO consultants is must be for us as a school, and also recommend for others, because you have time to reflect, and this is very important. So our how to say, idea for the next school year is to have twice a year a process of development with IMO, depending on our challenges that arise during a time. I think this continuous work on personal development and leadership is very important, so that we can grow and be more conscious, more aware of where we are, why we are here, and what we are doing actually. And another idea to have more social meetings with parents, and this chance of working more close to each other. If you have any other ideas or possible next steps, this is, I'm very open to write them, and also to put them into practice from your experience and your from your school.
Maybe I can summarize what I've heard from the group I was with. So I was one with from Italian school and one from Lithuanian school, and there they had kind of a bit the common topic of role clarity, expectations of the roles, and with that also came for me the image within a process. What is the role in the process? So who is a decision maker? Who is the process owner? And who is in the team? No, so that sometimes we feel like it's clear, but people, it's not clearly defined, and then we do a lot of things, but somehow we never end where we should, because this kind of sequence does not flow. So that was the point.
Thank you. Good input. We still have a few minutes, so feel free to contribute.
Excuse me, could you repeat, Alexandra, the three parts? Who decides, who leads the process, and what was the other one?
Yeah, like the supporter of the process team. So who is involved in the process, but there has to be one owner. A lot of time there is not a process owner assigned, or it is insinuated. So kind of like, yeah, they will take charge, and then no one takes charge. So really one is a process owner, and who is the supporter of the process, and then who is the decision maker. They don't necessarily have to be the same people, but they are all involved in this process.
One can argue also that well, the decision making is a real issue in the schools. That decisions have to be made again and again and again and again and again. So the problem is very often that we don't make a decision, so that we don't get to anything. We don't make a step. But when you take a decision, you can make a step, and then the reality shows you that it maybe is a little bit different. Take a decision again. So it's part of the process to come to the right decisions and the right steps. But because you make steps and you go on, then you start to see that things move. People move, situations move, issues move. And that is the core element of leadership. And leadership is not we do it all together. Leadership is that there are persons who take care of the process to make steps to get to decisions, so that we continue to deal with the issues in a good way. And that things can happen that help us.
Yeah, this is exactly what we have tried to start with our faculty in Spain with grade 8, which is an Anima di Alis exercise, where all these 3 roles are very clear, and where meanwhile you're moving the form, you're adopting a different position. So I would recommend artistic processes where you always have to, you're looking at the same thing from a different point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And this helps a lot. It makes you more flexible, and it also brings you very much together. And it also makes you very humble, because you think it's so easy, and all of a sudden you realize it's not easy at all.
Yeah, yeah.
So also a way to become aware of the inner process, of inner contribution to the process.
Yes, and to really experience what does it mean to support another's movement? What does it mean when I have to be the one who drives the movement? And what does it mean when I'm in the center and I have to balance both? It's such a simple exercise, and there are many exercises like this, not only eurythmy, but many exercises, also in bottom gymnastics as well, and so many other things our children are doing at school that you could do with the faculty and with the whole community. I think we need a lot of courage to do these things, but they work.
Generally.
Yes. Please go on.
Just continuing on what Teresa and Olga said. Pardon? No?
We're listening.
Okay, so just continuing on that, one of the things that I see in the various Waldorf schools is teachers having troubles because they weren't Waldorf students. And so actually what helps a lot is doing the same group dynamic things that teachers naturally do to help their own classes' group dynamics, and just doing the same things with the teachers' council in general. And so, for example, jumping rope helps a lot, because if everybody has to go around and one swing, one person, one swing, one person, other people, if one person struggles with that, other people have to help them with courage. Everybody needs to focus on that one person, and all group dynamic brotherhood things come out in that exercise.
Super. Thank you very much for all the suggestions. I'm very grateful.
Everybody is back now. Maybe I will say what we are going to do, and then maybe we can share the screen. So this is we will have a short moment of reflection, and the reason is that when we are in this kind of meetings, but also in our real life, we receive a lot of impressions, contents, experiences, and from moving to one experience to the other, sometimes we don't stop to see what was really important for me here. Yes. So what is the key thing I can take for myself, or use for the future. So we thought to have this breathing moment, yes, not only in the breakout rooms where someone speaks, then we share and we give something back, but also here to have this moment of we received something from the schools, now we stop, and then we give something back. So I would like to invite you just to take 1-2 minutes to reflect and on this question. So what is your key impression from the school presentations? So you attended 2 school presentations. And from this, what is your key impression? And then write it down for yourself in 1 sentence. So make it short. And then I will invite you to share just your sentence, no explanations, nothing more. Yes, just a sentence so that we can all give something or share something from our experience. And please also write your sentence in the chat. So maybe not everybody will get the chance to express it. This depends a bit on the time. But for us, it would be very good to collect these impressions from you. So now I will just invite you to take a minute, think of this question. So what was your key impression? Write it down in 1 sentence. And then I will invite you to just read your sentence, yes? And write it in the chat. We can start to share our sentences, please. Who would like just to hear a few of them, and then we will ask Adrian to close this part of the webinar with some common ground in what we heard. So who would like to share the question so we hear it?
I couldn't find the sentence, so it was very much, yeah. I couldn't find the sentence.
Okay. Someone that could find the sentence would like to read it to us?
Yes. Oh, I have to find my sentence back. Wait. For me, the impression of the afternoon was actually we are worldwide connected through Waldorf education and trying all to achieve the same goals. And even with different challenges, that's not in the sentence anymore, but the different challenges and the different ways of trying to proceed our leadership, I feel really connected, and that is the best thing up till now for me.
Okay, thank you. Can we hear another sentence?
Yeah, I can say.
Yes.
Creativity is not only related to specific arts and disciplines, but is about being active to improve the way we live and work. It is about social creativity, the way people create the world in which we live. This is horizontal leadership.
Thank you, Erika.
Yeah, I can also add a sentence. So I saw in those who presented the workshop that they were in a happy mood because there was a real movement in the school and there was real impact. So they were happy about things that changed.
Thank you, Blas. Some other impression? We still have 1 minute. So
my sentence was communication is a struggle in all organizations, and taking responsibility for the actions and processes of the organization.
Thank you, Oliver. Some other impression? Manuel, would you like to share something? You look you're even happier now that I invited you.
I was creating a slogan. If you want, I was creating a sort of slogan, like if you want to reach success, you have to do a good process.
Good.
It's good that I invited you to share. Okay, so Adrian, is this enough for this rounding up that we invite you to do? There are a lot of sentences in the chat. Maybe you could read them.
Yeah, I base it on the workshops and what I experienced. I have 4 points. First is doing research in the school opens up the community to face the real issues together. 1. 2 is when you do leadership research, then this brings the real issues on the table and creates the opportunity to start to face them and deal with them in a good way. The third point that I notice is there are certain key points that we have to deal with. That is, first of all, when we make people, concrete people, responsible as process owner or whatever, project leader. Important is role clarity. What is the role of the process owner? What is the role of the decision maker? What is the role of a team leader? Or what is the role of one who does a project for the school? So role clarity is in all the schools an issue to work with in this kind of process. And second issue is decision making. Do we take decisions? Who is taking decisions? Are we taking decisions? That is something that if we are not taking decisions, things get stuck. If we take decisions or people take decisions, then things can move on to the next step. That was number 3. Yeah. And number 4 is good leadership makes good processes possible in which the good things can happen. And these are not in the day-to-day routines, but you need special processes, special leaders who deal with these difficult change issues. Create a good process for it in which everybody can play their role and contribute. Without good process leadership, things get easily stuck and don't progress. This is what I learned from the cases. That's it.
Thank you very much, Adrian. So with this, we are closing the first part of this webinar. We will have a well-deserved break of 1 hour. So each of us can take a walk, have lunch, have dinner, whatever you have now. And then we come back for the second part. We'll have the nice workshop from Ronan and some more details about the projects of the results of the project. And then we will close our webinar. I hope you're good. And it was, it gave you energy and joy to be together. And I'll see you after.
I'm going to continue because Ronan is in between 2 jobs today, or 2 activities, and he has only time till the end of the hour. So we have to use the time. Ronan, welcome. You also joined in the beginning, and now we invited you to bring a workshop. This project started and is still primarily an European project, but our future goal is to become a worldwide Waldorf school leadership community. And so, Ronan, you are from Israel. You are very active in the Waldorf school movement, also a trainer in a Waldorf school teacher Institute, and you have developed a new approach of the collegium. So we do it like this. You start with your presentation and you tell something about yourself and the experience with this approach. And then we go into small groups with a question you asked us. And then afterwards we come back and reflect a little bit on it. So Ronan.
Yes, thank you very much. So we have now a few minutes to talk about the heart model. So I will share the screen.
Okay.
And so few words about myself. And well, I'm a biography counselor, so I'll do it very quick in the biographic way. Age of 19, I met anthroposophy. In the age of 35 to 38, I've learned biography and also organization development from the aspect of anthroposophy. And since then, I'm working in these two fields. Age of 31, I started to lead the Waldorf training program. This is also what I did in the last hour. In the next hour, I'm teaching now in the Waldorf training program. In the age of 52, I joined EMO. And so this is what I'm doing now, organization development in all kind of organization, but as Klaas said, most of it in Waldorf schools. I'm also leading the group of EMO Israel. I'm biography counselor, and I'm leading a teacher training program. So I would like to talk about the heart model, and again, where did it come from? In 2006, many years ago, I was in a Waldorf conference, and there was a workshop which was led by a Dutch person, Christoph Wichert. You can see here in the picture. At that time, he was the head of in Dornach about the education section, and he brought this work of how do we work about the heart and this what Steiner said about the heart. And after that, I did 4 steps. One, how to build a model for the collegium out of his heart model, and this is the subject for today. But just to let you know, there are other 3 steps which were made later. Not only for the collegium, but also the management or the caring team of Waldorf School can also work according to the heart model. And then I took it to a general management, and I'm using it with all kinds of institute and business. And only in the 4th phase, I built from the heart model a personal, individual development of way. But we talk today about the first part, about the collegium in Waldorf School and how we can work with the heart model. And we start with the sentence. The first one is very famous sentence of Steiner: the collegium meeting is the heart of the school. And there another sentence is the heart of the school in relation to its organization side is the meeting of the teacher staff. This meeting will make the school an organism in the way that the human body is an organism through the heart. So what Steiner said, we look at the image of the heart, and if we understand how the heart is working in the human being, this will give us this kind of an archetype of how should be the meeting, the collegium, the weekly meeting of the school. Very important sentence. And what the question is, what did Steiner mean? Because he didn't just say the heart. So let's go deep, how the heart is open. I think you know it from many years ago, but where the heart is opened by the heart and all the blood system in 4 steps, very quickly start from number 1 in the bottom left, that the blood with, we called it a blue blood because it has less oxygen is coming from all our body to the heart. The second part is the blue blood is going to the lung, and then we breathe. And first step, red blood, which is rich, going back to the heart. And number 4, from the heart, is go back to the rest of our body. And we built 4 qualities out of this heart model, which are sensing, vision, connection to the world, and nourishing. And we would like to use these qualities in the collegium meeting, of course, you'll get all the presentation. You don't have to write it. So about the collegium, we like that in every meeting, we will have these 4 sections, and we're going to talk about them. And so as class said, in 10 minutes from now, I think, we will do an exercise, but I already want to tell you what will be the question in that exercise. And if it's okay with you, you can already start to write for yourself these 2 questions at the bottom. Is there an expression for this part in the collegium meeting in my school? So I will give you about these 4 qualities. Please write for yourself. Do you have it in your school? Or most of you are Waldorf teachers, or any meeting in your organization? And second question, how can this intake, this quality can be strengthened in the future in the collegium meeting in my school? Assuming that you like these 4 qualities, how can I make them better in my school? So let's make a quick look about these 4 qualities. The first one is the quality of the sensing, which means that the blood is coming from all of my part of my body, my fingers, my toes, it doesn't matter. And all of them are coming to the heart. There is a famous article which said the heart is not a pump. But the heart is where the living connection between periphery and center is formed. So how can we use this sensing quality in school? So what I'm suggesting that in every meeting of the collegium, we will try to sense what's happening in the school. And I recommend to do it every week. And I also recommend to do it in small groups. I'm working with a lot of schools, and many times the whole collegium is a very big round. In few schools in Israel, it's a circle of maybe 40 or 50 teachers, and they do it in a circle, in a big round. I recommend to do it in small groups of 2 or 3 or 4, where everybody speaks and everybody is listens empathically to my colleague. And it's very significant to do this work in every meeting, that we try to sense what's happening in the world. By the way, it is not necessary that everybody will hear everybody. It's not necessary, but it's important that all of us will be active in this sensing. And I do not recommend to make a round. The 50 people in each of them will say something, it will be exhausted. The important is the last 2 quotes at the bottom. We know and feel our school. It's very important that we will know and feel our school, what's happening. And we do it every week by sensing it. No need for discussion or solution, just to feel that something is happening in the school. This is the first quality which I called sensing. The second feature is connected to vision and mission. Is it possible to put people in mute? The second is the vision, the mission, which is connected to the second part of the heart, which is the connection to the heart and the lung. So if we talk about the vision or the mission of the school, it doesn't mean that every week, usually on Thursday when we are doing the collegium or the faculty meeting, we have to open where are we and where are we going. But I recommend that in each week we will touch one subject, maybe pedagogic, maybe one of the mandates, and to touch one issue, and through that to touch our vision. For example, if we want to touch what kind of teacher that will be in our school, what is important for us, how it's connected to our school. We like that the teacher will be in what age, what background in anthroposophy, what attitude, and so on. So in every week to touch a subject, and through it to touch our vision. And again, no need for decision. We don't have to decide something, just to make a good conversation, a good dialogue between ourselves. And I also wrote at the bottom of the last sentence, each time if we touch our vision, we're touching the question, how a Waldorf education is realized through our school. You know, what is our uniqueness as a Waldorf school? So this touching by vision is very important for us, through that to touch the question, how we are realizing the Waldorf education in a unique way in our school. The third quality is interesting, is the connection to the world. If as you know, all the time we are breathing, even now, all of us here now in the conference are breathing all the time. So we're breathing out and in, and through that we're refreshing our blood, and fresh blood is going back to the heart. And so we like to bring this quality of connection to the world into the collegium meeting. So we like to touch the idea, what is the connection of our school with the world? And I'm reading the last sentence. In the case of Waldorf School, my recommendation is to engage every week in a different aspect related to the school and what happened outside of it. I put it on the top, the image of a fence in one of the schools in Israel, because sometimes we are interested only in what's happening inside the fence, inside the school, and we don't look what's happening outside. And I say it's very important to look what is happening outside. I gave you a few examples. For example, look at the connection with the neighboring Waldorf school. What is happening them? Maybe we can meet them, or we can learn from them. Or the relationship with a non-Waldorf school in our city. It's also could be very refreshing. What is the relationship with the authorities, with the municipality, or the Ministry of Education? In many Waldorf schools, it's kind of resistant to the authority and the Ministry of Education. They just make us trouble, but sometimes they can bring something new and fresh. So let's be open to the world. This part should not be updates. Sometimes I'm seeing that in the collegium all over the world, maybe the manager and the principal, that he update about issue in the world. So what I mean here is not updates, but dialogue, discussion about what's happening in my side. As I said in the bottom, in my experience, this part is often not present at the faculty meeting, at the collegium in Waldorf School. Usually we're not pay attention to what is happening outside. I made this model of the connection to the world. This is happening all of us. If the school is the blue line, we are always Waldorf teachers looking at our school and how are we doing. This is happening all the time. But what sometimes is missing, that we are thinking, what is the influence of us to what is happening outside the school? For example, other school in our city. Other issue with not always happening, are we open, or are we invite influence from outside into our school? Maybe other qualities connecting education. Interesting question. And number 3, are we open to have a feedback from outside? Maybe from parents, maybe from other places to our school. Are we open to listen to the world? Does it have to say for us something? So these are 4 qualities which looks, are we open to the world? And we go to number 4, the nourishing, one of the most interesting qualities, at least for me. Number 4 is the fresh blood, full with oxygen, that go all over to the whole our body. This is the nourishing part. So in this part, we like to nourish the people in our collegium. People should, sometimes I said, how was the collegium meeting? People said, oh, it was boring, it was exhausted, I'm just waiting until the end. At the end, it will be end. We like that the faculty meeting will be nourishing the people. So many times it could be by study something, maybe knowledge of man or other Steiner lectures, but not necessarily. But we can do also other things. But the main issue is not to bring knowledge, but to nourish the people of the collegium. And we can do it in all kinds of creative way. What is important at the bottom, keep it simple and be creative. But don't forget always, our goal is that the faculty meeting will be nourishing for the people. So we will go now to the exercise. If you remember the 4 qualities, I'll repeat them in a second. Maybe you don't remember them. But the question are two questions. Is there an expression for the heart model in the collegium meeting at my school? Can I already see it? I guess some of the things I said already exist in your school. And second question, how can these qualities be strengthened in the future in the collegium meeting in my school? And I repeat for a second for the 4 qualities. Number 1 was sensing. In each faculty meeting, we are sensing what's happening in the school. Number 2, in each meeting, we are touching our vision. Number 3, we look in every faculty meeting about the connection to the world. And number 4, in each meeting, we want to nourish the people in our school. So that was a quick look at the 4 qualities of the faculty meeting in the aspect of the heart model. And for me, it's okay if we will go now to small group and see how it is in my school regarding this heart model.
I can talk about our school if you like. At the time being, I'm teaching eurythmy in the upper school, but also in primary, class 6, for example. So the other day I went to an evaluation because we're at the end of the school term. And there I did see a quality of this heart model, especially in the way they were listening to each other, in the way they were trying to sense, for example, when they were doing the image of the class they were talking about, trying to sense the pupils and their needs. I don't see the 4 stages completely. For example, the last one, the nourishing one, I find is quite missing at the time being, at least in this primary group. But I think the first 3 are present. And if I look at the upper school, then I must say the contrary. The upper school, I think there's not very much expression of this heart model right now, but there is a longing to strive and to be able to get there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my question is, there is a leadership of the collegium meeting or not?
What do you mean?
There is somebody leading this process, so that you can do, for example, the 4 points.
Teresa and I have been leading the whole year the social eurythmy with our faculty, yes. But we're at the end of school, and now there's no time left, because at our school, we always have to spend many hours with evaluations because we have many pupils.
Yeah, I can imagine. No, but I didn't meant eurythmy. I meant the whole collegium meeting. So
Yes.
my question is, because we are also in a process about leadership, no? To have this process enriched, even if there are 3 points that sometimes are taken. But my question was, there is a leadership of the collegium meeting. There is somebody who lead it.
Yeah, there is we have a leading of the collegium. We have 2, Begoña and Patricia.
The coordinators.
The coordinators,
yes.
They are leading the
faculty.
collegium, the faculty. But when we are evaluations, the leading of the evaluation is the tutor, is the mentor, the tutor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because each teaching tutor has his, there's manners, o there's, ¿cómo se dice? Sus maneras, cada tutor tiene una manera de hacerlo.
Each mentor has his own way of doing things, so he builds up the image.
Claro.
But this is not your question, Erika.
No, my question was because if the second question was if you can improve this, then I was asking if there is a leadership of this process. Otherwise, it's very difficult to improve it.
Yes, we do have a leadership, but what we're saying right now is at the moment it stops because we're now doing evaluations. So
yeah, of course, yes, but we are speaking about in general, September or.
But the
if you want
question,
to-
can we sense this at our school? We can sense it. We can sense it in primary. We would have to continue with this work in September. Right now, it's not possible. Now we can only speak from the past, what we have seen until now.
Yeah. Because, for example, in Italy, we are working on finding a person who can lead the pedagogical process that there is not at the moment.
Oh, we always have someone each year. 2 teachers are chosen, are asked, usually from the management team group, to lead the teachers' faculty. So the whole year they are preparing each Thursday the contents on which the faculty is going to work on. And for example, Teresa and I, through the leadership project, have always spoken with them each week in order to see what we were going to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, in this sense, probably also they have for the collegium, but the pedagogical process is more than the collegium. Is, for example, to have a look how each teacher is learning, improving in their classroom, because nobody knows what happened in the classroom.
Yes, we also
like
have
a coach of the teachers and a person who has all the process in the awareness.
Yes, we have a responsible in upper school. And when the upper school teachers meet together, we have the general faculty meeting, and then we split up. So the upper school teachers work on their own, and there are 2 teachers who are responsible for the pedagogical contents, and in primary the same, and in kindergarten the same. Okay? Yes.
And Olga, from these qualities, which one do you think is the strongest in your faculty meeting?
Well, I think sensing is the strongest one. I think so, because we're very much in the feeling realm. So I think sensing is one of our strengths. Yes.
And how does it manifest in the meeting? How do you see it?
Yes. Well, just the way we're dialoguing with each other, and the way somebody is saying something and then somebody else contributes, building up and constructing an image. I think when we do this, it's okay.
You feel aware of what is happening in the school. There's an awareness of what is happening in the school.
No, there's not a whole awareness.
No, not a whole.
The awareness is split up in what I just said. Kindergarten, they have an awareness of the school. Primary has their awareness, and the upper school. So I think sensing is still partial. We would need to engage in a broader vision of sensing. Yes.
And which one do you think is the weakest quality?
Nourishing.
Nourishing.
Oh, absolutely.
And how do you observe this? Why do you say this?
Well, we explained in our PowerPoint in our presentation that the most difficult thing at our school, at least, is to bring rhythm and continuity into any content. So we jump from one content to the next one. We lose a lot of time in practical issues. And for example, this year in the upper school team, we haven't done one single image. So you cannot nourish. It depends also on the people who are directing the upper school team, yes? So it's very difficult to deepen into contents, and this is a huge struggle we have right now.
And do you see some possibilities of strengthening for next year, of strengthening this nourishing? Do you see some concrete ideas?
Yes, Teresa and I think that one of the main issues is that the teachers training, I don't know, in Italy or how it's in Lithuania, but the teachers training is going through a sort of crisis. We have several teachers trainings, but the one in Madrid, which was the pioneer one, has less students and less students. And I was recently there teaching, and I realized they are in a very critical moment. I think we should have to try to build up a stronger teachers, a stronger teachers training. I think that's the origin of when teachers come to our school, they haven't had a really proper training. They haven't been able to deepen enough into contents. And that's a problem. But it's not only a problem in Spain, because I'm in X-Way and I hear from all schools in Europe, and they're all going through similar problems.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you also feel that when people come out of these meetings, they don't feel nourished.
No, not at all. No. When we do social eurythmy, for example, it's a bit superficial, not only with social eurythmy, also with painting, or when we do a play or something together which is creative. Then I find that the faculty is very open, and there you can see a longing, a desire to really get into processes, but then it disappears next week, and then something different happens. So we are continually trying to make things get grounded. And this is a huge, this is our issue right now.
I can give a tip if you like.
Please.
That each time that you create a process now for that to nourish in this meeting, and ask colleagues each time one or two to propose something that in the week for them was nourishing. And highlights can be a good experience with children. I don't know, an issue, something that has to be shared to nourish, something that nourishes them and that can be shared. And to get a little process can be also that this person present what was the nourishing of the week. And then in couples, in trio, you can also share and reflect what has to do with me, this. Can I integrate? Can I be inspired by this? Just to digest what arrived, no? It's a tip that came out to me in your...
Wonderful, thank you, it's excellent. Actually, a couple of years ago, we used to have the tradition that before we ended the general teachers faculty, there was an option that whoever wanted could raise his hand and say, well, today I had something happened in my classroom with a pupil. And they would tell something funny or something dramatic or whatever, which is a bit in this direction. This is more specific.
Yeah.
And I realized when I look back that it was very nourishing, because it gave us a vision of what was going on at school.
Oh, we have only 23 seconds for Renate.
Sorry.
We don't hear you. We don't hear you.
Sorry. So it was really interesting to listen to you as well. We have a small school, so we have 3 of those very well.
Maybe question that you find in your groups or any reflection that you like to bring here to the plenum about the heart model.
Well, I think it was fantastic. Thank you so much. It has helped me a lot to have a clear vision of what we could do in a very practical, but also, I don't know, it's a very direct approach. I appreciate it a lot.
for me, what was interesting was how I honestly love the school that I work at because they're wonderful at the nourishing part of the collegium meetings, and realizing how with the other ones it's oh yeah, there's still some work to be done on that part. Interesting. And just realizing what are the areas that could be improved.
Thank you. Any more insights or question that you have?
No.
I have a suggestion, Ronan. Call it the hard concept.
Hard concept.
Instead of the hard model. Model is mechanical, the concept is more dynamic.
Thank you. I will.
Yep.
It was something that we have been talking about in our school for our leadership group, a smaller group that makes the decisions, but we haven't had the kind of clear methods or clear words for it. We've talked about the lungs and the the breathing, but I think this helps us make it more tangible and more concrete and more workable for the whole school. So I think we are really going to use it next year.
Yes, use it practically. Steiner gave us this image of the heart, and as you said, let's look at what's happening in the heart and the lungs, and let's bring it down to earth. Spirit and matter. This is the issue here.
I also find it very important, this question, what changed this week? Because we're usually all in a hectic of things that are continually happening and things we have to solve, and this moment of reflection, what happened? And to share it in smaller groups is something very, very important.
Yes, what has been changed is a very important question, because then suddenly we can see that the parents are more quiet in the last few weeks. But we need to ask it and to understanding the something happening. We're usually dealing with the troubles and with the issues. But if we ask what has been changed, then new things can be open. Thank you.
Did you, Ronan, also as a kind of observation of the impact of using this model on the teams, what you can observe over time when they use it?
What I see the most powerful is the sensing, because I know many schools that adopted the sensing idea, and they really said things have been changed. We are much more connected to what is happening, not to the issues and to the events, but to what is underlined. So I have good experience with that. And also the idea of the nourishing is always really shocking to people. They never thought of this meeting that it should nourish. And when you bring it, people say, aha, now I understand. So in these two, it works very well. In the vision, usually people already doing it, and the world, people usually ignore it. This is my experience. And the big change is always with the first and the fourth, the sensing and the nourishing.
Yeah, we talked about it in our group with Ronan, and I asked what's your experience in the most schools, and he said, well, that it's falling back in traditional meetings instead of keeping it warm. And then Adrian said it's very important to have a leadership in the school which thinks this is very important and takes it as its responsibility to keep it alive.
Yeah, also I reflect, Ronan, that is a good approach to activate people also. Not to be passive in examining points or problem solving or issue, but to be active And we were reflecting this has to do with the leadership of the pedagogical process. Otherwise, it don't happen. It needs that somebody take care of this process of the 4 points, that people are active and also looking out of the collegium, because the connection with the work can be also with the parents, with a lot of things. So it make the collegium active, but need a leadership, I think. That is the issue of our projects. But thank you very much. It's very, very interesting.
Yes, it's very important what Erika said, because when it works, then someone is taking in charge, or the whole model. In one school, I saw that someone was the process owner of the world part, and every week he brought something to discuss about the world. So someone has to be in charge, or be the process owner of the world part or the nourishing part. Then it works. If we just look at it as an interesting concept, then it is not enough. So thank you, Erika.
I think
but it can be also an help for example, in Italy, we're working on the leadership of the pedagogical process. It's also an instrument, an help to lead this process. There are several declinations I can imagine in different schools.
I think also the remark of sitting in the big circle, I once said, in the opening, it's good to sit in the big circle to open the meeting. And it is good when you close the meeting, you say, we close the meeting, to sit in the big circle. But in every other moment, it's not very productive. It needs different groups and forms and movements. Instead of the big circle, enables people to keep their mouths shut, and it enables some people to speak all the time. And that is traditional, and it doesn't have to do anything with people. It's happening everywhere, in every school, everywhere. So it's the format that makes people keep silent, or it is the format, like Roland said, in a small group, to open up and dialogue with each other, because that is what makes the thing happen. Sorry.
Thank you. Is it okay to close this session, because I have to teach in 1 minute, if it's okay with you?
Yeah, it's okay.
Of
Thank you
course.
very much.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Roland.
much.
Thank you,
It was a pleasure.
Roland.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
I think it's good to continue the program. I will very shortly tell something about the results of the whole project. Yes, here you have an overview of what this project is about and what were the targets we want to realize. So as you understand now, there was research in all the 8 schools on leadership issues. And out of the results of this research, we will make a publication of the results. That will be at the end of this project after summer, this publication. Another very important thing, what we want to realize is to create a community of a learning community of people who want to develop this leadership for Waldorf schools. And to realize this, we have created an online platform. We call it the WLD platform, where we built up this community of Waldorf School Leaders Network. We create a library, and we have also visible kind of a land map where you can see all the schools. And Hans, maybe you can go to the next slide. Then I can show it. So this is the front page of this platform. It's on the internet. We will send you also the link to the internet, and you can register. Next slide, Hans. So if you register to this network, you become a member of this online network, and we will keep you informed with updates and publications and so on. So it's easy to fill in, it's free, but we keep it only for this community of all those who are interested in Waldorf School leadership development. Next slide. So if you step in this platform, what you can see is there is a library. I will say something about it after this. There is a network part. I will also say something. And there is a map of Europe in this case. So on this map, you see where we are now, with which schools we participate in the project. But of course, you understand, later on in the future, there will be more blue dots on this map. And it's not only Europe, but it will become worldwide map with Waldorf school people, Waldorf schools and leaders participating in this community. Next slide. So that was the previous one. So if you go to the network, then you have here on the big screen on the left what is in the network, like some folders and information. And on the right side, you see all the people who are participating in this network, and you can easily make contact with all of them, what you want, send them messages and communicate, whatever. Next slide, Hans. This is more information about the people who participate in the network. Then we have the library. Library is, at this moment, it consists of interesting websites that are relevant for this, our question and the topic of leadership, publications that we provide, and also videos, like the video you saw with Thomas in the beginning of this conference, but also other videos. For example, Hans, he wrote a book a few years ago about the school as a developing organization. It's also translated in English. And we have video dialogue together about this book, about the chapters of this book. And it's very nice to follow those dialogue and reading the book. So this is about the library. Then we also create a kind of learning program. This is a short overview of this learning program, the topics. It's still in development, but I think before summer we can send out to everyone who is here and who has registered for the conference. We can send an offer of this leadership program to work on leadership development for yourself and for the school. We hope it will be very helpful for people to continue with this development. That's it. That is about the whole result of this project. I think that's it for the moment. An ultimate goal is that we want to build a masterclass on leadership. We call it in EMO horizontal leadership for Waldorf schools, because we know that this is really the best way to make this transition, development of leadership happen. And Adriaan, founder of EMO, and also at the start of EMO masterclasses, will tell a little bit about this idea of masterclass. Adriaan?
Yeah, Klaus. So in EMO from the start, next year we exist 20 years. We always had our work with clients in their organization doing these development processes. And we had in the countries mostly this masterclass of horizontal leadership, where people from these organizations, but also other organizations, participated in a one-year program, mostly 7 workshops, intervention groups in between, where they explore this methodology of horizontal leadership. and practice it in their organization on the concrete issues that this organization is facing. It is very nice to see that, for instance, in Brazil, I think we have already the 15th masterclass going. Every year there is one. In Germany, we have it in years. In Holland, it's starting again. Italy, we had masterclasses. So in most countries, we had this masterclasses, and I can say that the people who follow this masterclasses really strengthened their leadership, became visible in the organization that something is happening, and found ways with their organization and themselves to deal with really difficult issues. And certainly, we always had people from Waldorf schools in these masterclasses also participating, and we've noticed that for them also it's very fruitful. Also, Jutta, sitting next to me, she's working with a little smaller program, but basically the same with Waldorf schools and Waldorf schools leaders in Germany already for many years, and this helps Waldorf schools in particular to find next steps and develop in a healthy way and not get stuck, which today easily can happen in the Waldorf school when they keep certain traditions and not refresh them, and then parents and children, they turn away. So I think it's a very important way of helping leadership in the schools to find a methodology, a way of acting that is not failing back into traditional discussions on what well, or what yes, and what no, but helps the community to make steps and find the future.
Thank you, Adrian. So that was a taster for the masterclass.
Yes.
Coming. Okay, so we go to the last parts of the conference. Roxana.
Yes. So now, thank you for presenting the fruits. We will have the second part of reflection on this experience, and this time it will be not like in the first part, so just to think what was my impression, yes, what I take from this. Now we will reflect on what it is important, what is essential for me to share with my school, because here there's one person, two person from a school, so this and they get an impression, but sometimes if we don't have this moment of reflection and maybe mirroring with someone else, it's we don't really formulate what is essential for us. Yes, what do I really want to bring back to the school so that it nourishes the school? So it's not just an experience nourishing for me, or I get an idea for my school, but to make a step and bring this to the school. So the invitation is that we take the same, like 1-2 minutes to reflect and write for yourself what is essential, the answer to this question. Yeah? So what is essential for me to share with my school from today's experience? So it's from the whole day as an experience. So maybe contents, maybe learnings, insights, practical ideas, whatever you consider to be essential. And then we will go into small groups of 4, and we will share this individual reflection. So can you please, Hans? Sorry to disturb you. So then we go into groups of 4 and we share. So everybody shares this. And from what we share, we extract 1 sentence for each group. You can move, Hans, again. Just click. Yes. Write 1 sentence about what was essential in our group. So from what everybody in the group shared, what can we gather or extract as an essence? What we found essential in our group to share with the school. And then we come back in the plenary, and someone from each group will read the sentence. my question is there any group where you didn't manage to form a sentence? Yes?
Did you ask it to me?
To write a sentence about what was essential?
Yes, we did, but I don't know. I switched groups. So out of the blue. I don't know why. I was talking and so I like magic.
Yes.
Yes, but I'm not in your group, I think. Or maybe well.
No, in my
You're all going
I
back
was
now. Yeah. Okay.
we
Good.
were in,
So in this part, we invite every group, someone from each group, to share the sentence, and please also write it in the chat. But the main thing is that we hear it. Yes, what was essential in your group?
I can start. We want to pace the possibility of leadership forward, exploring and keep on walking constantly.
Okay, thank you. Also write it in the chat, yes?
Yep.
Thank you. I know I can count on you, Edith. Who would like to go next? Next group?
I can say our group.
Yes.
The new image of leadership is everyone is the leader and participate co-creation with trust in such a way that vision happens in practice.
Thank you. So please write it in the chat. Next group.
I can go next. To have a plan and make things done, we need to have responsibles for each task, and we can have small meetings where everybody can use everybody's creativity and measure the results.
Thank you.
Very good.
Write in the chat, please. Next. Next group would be?
Yeah, I can say about our group. It was not simple to put all the things together, but we decided for less is more. That is, leadership is when everybody is involved.
A good one. Thank you. Thank you. Again, I hope this was a good reflection for you, so that now it's more clear what you would like to share with your school from this experience and how it could be fruitful for you. And now we will move to the last part of our meeting.
It's my task to finalize everything. So I think this was a nice webinar, a nice conference. We started big and we end up with the core group, so to say. I'm very happy with it. I hope that all kind of connections and relationships will appear out of this. It's already a result or a fruit of this project. I know, for example, that there is this connection between the Romanian school and the Italian school, and other connections will, of course, happen. So it's not only looking back this conference, but it is also the start of a new beginning, a new future, in which leadership will be developed more and more together, all together. That's also what I heard sometimes in the workshops. We should continue next year somehow. So I think the impulse becomes strong. Feel free also to connect to each other. It's also an invitation to use the platform We will send to you a message after this conference with all the important information, and yeah, become part of the network. As I mentioned in the network, on the platform, there is also this part of publications, especially for this project. Adriaan wrote a publication about leadership in Waldorf schools. It's available on this platform. You can find it if you register yourself. And we hope that discussions comes out of it and that people are going to work with it. Adriaan, maybe I may ask you to say some final words about all those words like community and leadership and horizontal leadership and the EMO methodology. How does it belong together as a kind of final words that we can remember when we close the conference?
Yeah, I keep it short, maybe in an image that came to me again here, that is maybe in the past, our communities were very much carried by institutions like churches, like political constellations, maybe like businesses and organizations. So they gave us a kind of a carrying ground for not only our practices, but also for our values, for what is meaningful in our communities. And maybe most of us still experience this working of these churches, politics, businesses, organizations on our lives. And I think what one can notice world around, and that's nice because in IMO we are in 11 countries, different parts of the world, working with our clients, maybe 350 or more client organizations. I experience also personally that these institutions are not so much anymore able to really carry us as individually fully. And so we need a different ground. And I think Waldorf education and the impulses of Waldorf education are part of a search process to find a new way of creating communities based on the individuals who participate in these communities and that show leadership towards each other and help each other to make a sensible, fruitful, and substantial life. We as IMO developed this methodology based on the people that were before us, Ita Wegman, Steiner, Bernard Liefergoed, others, to help organizations and communities and people to learn how can we give leadership ourselves and together to the organisms that we are responsible for, our families, our organizations, our teams, our communities. And Waldorf School is, I think, a wonderful example of the struggle. In our group, last group, we explored that it is wonderful how worldwide young generations can experience this Waldorf education. My two daughters have been experiencing this, and how it really can strengthen the young people to take this leadership role in life. And for instance, my youngest daughter once researched what happened to her class that she was in Germany from 10th grade till the end of it. And she said, all my classmates are living an entrepreneurial life. As an artist, as a bookkeeper, as a financial manager, as a priest, they all do it in an entrepreneurial way. They have learned how to deal with this profession, with their lives in this way, which I found very impressive. If that is the case, what happens to many of our young people in Waldorf schools, then I think this is really an impulse that tries to find a new way of dealing with the life issues in the community out of personal leadership. I think what we have noticed in IMO, and therefore we support many schools in China, Brazil, Romania, and all the countries that we are, is that it's very important that the teachers and the teachers group start to learn together, to dialogue with each other, and work with each other, also together in this leadership attitude that they very often practice with the children in a certain way, but they don't practice it with each other in the teachers community. And therefore, I think this initiative that Klaus and Hans and Roxane and others took to strengthen this leadership in Waldorf schools is a contribution to a new way of building up society and revitalize also institutes that we are part of by supporting in businesses, in churches, in political context, people to be part of the leadership, take responsibility and co-create with each other the impulses that they really morally stand for. And this is, I think, very much the case with all the issues that we see today, war, nature, pollution, but also soul struggles, depression, that I think this contribution of Waldorf is essential to find these ways and practice these ways. As Steiner said, this creates the future for the next development phase, the Jupiter phase in humanity. This will all be built on this personal leadership of people. And this personal leadership is that we start to take care to support the other person in realizing its destiny, looking through the eyes of the other person, sharing the fate and the suffering of the other person, and being supported also by others in our struggle. And so co-create together out of this leadership new societies. And finally, I must say that Bernard Lievergoed, a teacher of myself, he called this creating islands of humanity. I think that is what we can do for the next generations. Islands of humanity that they can start to live in, work in, and create themselves. That's it.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you. Thank you all for participating till the end. Yeah, thank you very much. If you have any questions or you want to connect, feel free. You will anyway receive a message after this. And I think this is the moment, a good moment, if Hans will stop sharing the screen now, to say goodbye to each other. And farewell, and till the next time.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you for inspiration.
Yes.
Bye, thank you. Good job.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.